It was 1928 when the Boston Garden opened its doors for the first time. While boxing was the main event that night, 3 days later, the Bruins christened the Garden Ice against the Montreal Canadiens. The Bruins and the Garden were a perfect match. Backboned by Eddie Shore, they won the Stanley Cup in the inaugural year of the Garden and twice more before the mid-40s. Despite the success in the first 3 decades, it was the Bruins team of the late 60s and early 70s that supplied the city with a lifetime of memories. Together, they won 2 Stanley Cups and defined the city of Boston as a hockey town. Although there were no championships in the late 1970s, the Garden adored its teams and its relentless hustle. In the 80s came a new leader who has guided the Bruins with grace and class for the last 15 years. Tonight's the final Bruins ticket in this building as they leave in fitting fashion against the Montreal Canadiens. 7 decades of memories come together as the Boston Bruins close the Garden with one last hurrah. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Boston Garden. Well, what's your memories of this old building, Derek?
You know, there's many memories, but you look at this building as what it is, really. It's the intimacy of the fan. The fan is right on top of you. You know that fan almost like he's maybe an ally, maybe a friend. They would insult you. They would shout at you. They would cheer you. You got to know them. They would know you on the street. It was a wonderful building to play on with its excitement, and I think that is the building itself. I don't know any specific memory. Obviously, Bobby's goal in 1970. They're wonderful, and those all they all add up.
Well, my memories, of course, seeing the first game, 11 years old. My neighbor took me here. It was 1929, Derek. That's a few years back. But it was great. And I saw Eddie Shore then, so I've seen Shore and Orr, and you can't ask for much more than that. And now to Sean McDonough.
Thank you, Fred and Derek. You know, guys, I can't believe on the night I finally get my own skybox high atop center ice, they're going to tear down Boston Garden. But we're going to put this box to good use tonight. The Boston Bruins, as part of the ceremonies tonight, have invited back 30 former great players and coaches, and throughout tonight's game, we'll be visiting with some of those former Bruins. You'll want to stay tuned throughout the night. The Bruins also have touching ceremonies planned for halftime and postgame, and that's right, it is halftime. They'll play 2 25-minute halves here tonight. Fittingly, it's the Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens in the last hurrah here at the Boston Garden. We'll come back with a ceremonial face-off in just a moment. Boston Bruins hockey on UPN 38 is brought to you by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. By your New England GMC truck dealers. By the Boston Sunday Globe. For more than 2 million people, it's the Sunday paper. And by your friendly New England Dodge dealers. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge.
It's another exciting night at the Garden.
Now Shore starts lumbering up the ice, skating over onto the right wing. The Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup. The crowd loving every moment of it.
Boston, and this crowd is delirious.
And welcome back to a special evening here at the Boston Garden. The Boston Bruins hosting the Montreal Canadiens for the Garden finale. And now for the pregame ceremony, downstairs, the PA announcer, Jim Martin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last hurrah at historic Boston Garden. Fans, the storied rivalry of the Boston Bruins and Montreal Canadiens began in the first hockey game played in this building on November 20th, 1928. And it is only fitting that we conclude the Garden's hockey history by hosting the Canadiens this evening. For tonight's pregame ceremony, we have two men who have played major roles in their team's rich traditions. Representing the Canadiens is a man who played 14 seasons in a Montreal uniform, winning 8 Stanley Cups with the Canadiens as a player. He has served since 1983 as the club's managing director and has won 2 more Stanley Cups with Montreal in that position. He was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1986. Please welcome Serge Savard. Representing the Bruins is a man who has been affiliated with the team for over 30 years. He coached the team to a Stanley Cup championship in 1970. He enters his 24th season as the team's general manager, and he has engineered more victories as a GM than any man in NHL history. He was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame as a builder in 1983. Please welcome Harry Sinden. Fans, if you will please direct your attention to the Zamboni entrance, you will see displayed a unique piece of artwork by Rhode Island artist Thomas Lynch. The Bruins are presenting this piece to the Canadiens to commemorate the 67 years of the great Boston-Montreal rivalry here in historic Boston Garden. At this time, we ask Montreal captain Mike Keane and Boston captain Ray Bourque to come to center ice for tonight's ceremonial face-off. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join Renee Rancourt, accompanied by garden organist Ron Harry with the singing of the Canadian and American national anthems.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. With glowing heart we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets bursting in air, again prove through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet waving
Tremendous rendition of the national anthem done by Rene Rancors. We got to look at Ray Bourque in the last game here at the Boston Garden. Fred, your feelings at this moment?
Well, Raymond, of course, in that great tradition of great defensemen down through the years, starting, as I told you earlier, with Eddie Shore.
Do you think it's a sign of times to come? They have Kyle McLaren starting with Bourque tonight in the last game in the Garden. He may be #1 pick. He's obviously been that, and he may be the heir apparent to Ray Bourque.
And the young man has shown very, very well so far, but he is just 18.
He's only
he
18.
may need another year or two.
Well, I'll tell you, at 18, Bourque came in and he had a lot of poise. McLaren does too. I bet it is a difficult task the Bruins are asking him to do. So we get a look at Patrick Roy. Patrick was not to play in this game, not scheduled to play, and he asked to play in the Garden finale. Preseason 2-0-0, and Blaine Locker gets a nod for the Boston Bruins. A lot hinges on that man's shoulder right there. He's got to have the season he had last year. That 450 is not what Blaine would like. He'd like it around 2.5, 230.
Set to go, Turgeon against Oates. And this is the big line for the Montreal Canadiens. Danfus did not have a good year last year.
Well, Paul Stewart is holding off the face-off here for a little camera time.
And Bourque scales it in wide, and Tim Sweeney starting at left wing with Oates and Neely in to try and get it. Deep forechecking by Neely, and a whistle here.
Going to call it a high stick. Like, take this moment. Bobby Orr asked us to say hello to a friend of his, Tim Gallagher. Wanted him to get well. Be a Bruin, be tough. Get a look at Cam Neely. He's had a lot of adversity. He is back. He's healthy. His knees are good. His strength is there. Still working on the timing, as everyone is. Remember, this is exhibition.
Well, Sean McDonough's on hand, and he'll be able to chat with Bobby Orr, and maybe Bobby can
say hello to Tim.
Say hello personally. However, there is so much to cover here in this one. Right now, Stefan Trentel, remember him? Former Bruin. Oates forechecking on the play, staying in at the point. Raymond Bourque missed several games because of a groin injury. This backhander flipped into the stands, and a face-off call to the left of Patrick Roy.
Tim Sweeney getting a nice start on the left side by Stevie Casper on the big line. Neely and Oates trying still to find that man for the left side. It will be Kevin Stevens in the power play situation. I wouldn't doubt that at all, but they want to have a little more depth in offense. Joseph Stumple has been sent to Providence. A little bit of a wake-up call. Joseph Stumple is a tremendous player. He will not be there long.
And now the line is Alec with Stevens and Mullen on the wings. Turgeon stays out there, wins the draw, and it's up for Danfus on the left. Turgeon to center ice. Former Islander rolls it in softly. Stevens there to get it around to Mullen. Mullen check, can't get it. Popovich able to keep it in at the left point. Roloff going deep, trying to work it free. Trouble near the side of the net, tied up face-off.
Mark Recchi has 4 goals and 8 assists in the preseason, just storming for the Canadiens, but all their goals are coming with Recchi, Turgeon, and Dan Foose. All their eggs are in one basket.
I'll take a picture of that scoreboard. It says 24:04. You won't see that too many times.
I know.
25-minute halves. We're playing a little bit of football here, maybe. Koivu, Keane, back to the point. O-line, a shot high and wide from the right point. Long rebound. It's up from Mullen, right wing side. On the left for Stevens. Stevens a backhander, and it's blocked. And away to center ice on the left side. Koivu, small but tricky. Savage, Keane, in deep, great stop blocker, backhander, Keane, he's blocking.
Oh, Kevin Stevens said enough. Enough, just flattened Mike Keane, who's a tough little customer, Mike Keane. Frustration on Keane's part comes from the obvious blown opportunity. Locker just went so nicely with the pass. Now watch how the pass comes through. Locker sees it and he feeds across very well. Shuts Keane off and tries to stuff it underneath. Keane tries to get it up. Kevin Stevens says enough of that. Good night. Kevin Stevens will bring a lot of physical play to the Bruins. Along with Cam Neely, 2 of the best hitting forwards in the game.
Jacques Demers says enough of the rough stuff, so he's sending out Brashear, Stevenson, and Ferguson.
Well, Stevenson and Brashear are 2 heavyweights.
They will hit Brisebois. A shot blocked in front. Pops wide of the net. Reed trying to work it free. Kept in by Ferguson. Ferguson jamming in the corner.
Chervyakov doing a nice job of staying with his man. If he doesn't get holding penalty.
Crunching hit by him, but Brashear able to get the puck still on the boards. Ferguson trying to center it. Checked all the way by Chervyakov. Taken down on the play. No call there.
That was a trip.
In deep for sure, keeping it, but it's all on the boards, on the perimeter. Kasatonov trying to get it free. Reed trying to check the play. Now it's up the boards to Brisebois, able to keep it in. Drops it off in front. The backhander checked. The puck still loose. The Bruins having trouble clearing, and finally they work it free. In the center ice, Dave Reed coming, snaps it in wide. Hughes going. Leach is on the other wing. They're pressing to keep it in, and Kasatonov does. Drives it wide of Roy. Daniel taking over. He's on with Brisebois on defense. JJ breaks it to center ice. Brashear backhands it in. Well, they kept it in for a long stretch. Checking line. In deep now, Jim Campbell out of Worcester, Massachusetts. And they expect big things from him. Ray Bourque gets it. Works it free for Hughes. Snapped out of the zone. Wrapped back on the left side. Bureau rolls it in deep. And McLaren wheeling around on the boards. Heavy hitting in there. Kept in by Campbell. Campbell tried to center it. Checked on the play by McLaren. McLaren, tall, rangy youngster. And it's back to the point. Odeline can't continue. Wraps it over the line, but it is now McLaren with it. Trying a long pass. It rolls off the boards in front. Skated away by Odeline. Walk stays at the line, trying to keep it in. Can't do it. Turgeon breaks. Has Recchi free. Holds. Moves. Save. Blocker. A beauty with the left pad. No score. First period at Boston Garden.
And get a look at young Kyle McLaren. Big, rangy boy. A lot of poise. Bruins very high on him. Talked with Gordy Clark. Loves him. Thinks he's absolutely going to be a great one. #1 pick. But he's young yet. Got to feel his way. I remember that in my first game in the Garden. This is a tough one for him to get into. You get so pumped. You want to do so much so quickly.
Derek, the shot clock doesn't work. Do you think they're telling me something?
They finally got you after all these years.
That Turgeon shot was a quality one. Kental can't contain it. Chased by Neely. Gets it over the line. Oates can't keep it in. Tim Sweeney is broken up by Dumfries. Loose puck. Oates. Neely, right wing side, lets it go. Save Roy. A typical Neely shot.
Adam Oates took that face off. He lost it. It was a clean draw. He has that hand he had operated on. Be interesting to watch how many draws he's going to take, see how he feels. Cam Neely, nice shot.
Puck to the corner. Tim Sweeney after it. Forced deep around the boards. Takes the hit. Oates. Tim Sweeney, keep it in. Sweeney back left point. Don Sweeney shot tipped into the stands by Roy. Sean McDonough now.
Thank you very much, Fred. We're pleased to have as our first guest of the night one of the all-time Bruin greats, Phil Esposito. Phil, I know a special night for all the ex-Bruins, and the question of the night is the most memorable memory that you have concerning your experience here at the Garden.
Well, I have a lot of them, Sean. I really do, but at a team standpoint, when Bobby scored in overtime in 1970, that's one of my great memories. As an individual, my number being retired and scoring 100 points the first time.
The night your number was retired, I think that was the most emotional thing that I've ever seen in this building, when Ray Bourque took off his jersey and was determined to wear number 77 the rest of his career.
It's my greatest thrill I've ever had in a game of hockey, having my sweater retired here. To me, that's the biggest tribute you can give any player that's played in any place, and that's my biggest thrill.
Of course, you were best known for your goal scoring, led the league in goals 6 years in a row during your time with the Bruins. Among the goals that you scored, which one stands out in this building? A lot to choose from.
I have no idea. Honestly, I really can't tell you, because I never ever kept track, and I mean, if it was a goal that won the game, or I scored them and I liked them, but if we lost 7-2 and I got 2 goals, big deal. I mean, it was a goal where we won 3-2 and I got the 3rd goal. Those are the kind of goals. I can't specifically name one.
And now in your capacity as president and general manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning, how's your team looking?
For the first time, Sean, for the first time since we've started, I have some decisions to make on some players, and that means we're getting better, and I probably won't sign our first draft pick, which will be the first time also in 3 years, which means we're getting better. So we'll see what happens. I'm anxious to come up and play up the new Fleet Center against the Bruins.
Bill, thank you very much. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Fred and Derek.
Okay, Sean, and play on. And Joe Mullen with it. Breaks it out with Stevens. And they can't combine. Koivu comes back to intercept. Malakoff is stopped by Stevens over the line. Bruins can't set the play. Cherbiakov now wraps it in from center ice. Malakoff winding up for the Canadiens. We have no score in the game. And we have just under 20 minutes left of these 25-minute halves that are going to be played. A lot of ceremonies, a lot of people on it, including Phil Esposito. Malakoff taps it in. Kasatonov into the corner. Mullen takes a hard hit in there from Brashear. This line played well. Let's first shift Ferguson, Brashear, Stevenson. Big, hard hitters. But they're all on the perimeter, all on the boards, and the Bruins keep them there. They keep it in again, looking in front for Ferguson. Doesn't work. Now it goes behind the net. A battle there, bounces in front, and Mullen picks it off. Mullen up for Kasatonov. Can't set a play with Todd Alec. And it is Stevens popping it over the line. Mullen in, shot, save, Roy! Stevens to Mullen, great chance from 15 feet out. Joey Mullen on the right wing side. As the Bruins have had 2 good chances, Neely and Mullen. But did have to give the edge in play slightly to Montreal. Here they come again, and Bureau is in. Save! Puck is cleared on the rebound. Bureau denied by Locker on that one.
This game is getting a little more up and down. Joey Mullen and Kevin Stevens coming through center ice. They're pretty used to each other. There's no doubt about that. Kevin Stevens is going to tip it. Here's Mullen on the play up to Stevens. Now Stevens, he leaves it, but Mullen peeked and he saw Bruin coming. And it's all the time you get in this game. It's an instant decision, and he thought it was a Bruin. It was not. It was a Canadian. Here is playing the locker on Bureau. Beautiful save. Nice clear.
Bureau, Campbell on the right. Sevigny on the left. Face off to the right of Locker. No score in the game. Kental drive, save. And the puck bounces out in front for Donato. Looking for Hines. Hit by Kental. Popped over the line. Sevigny back to cover. And the Canadiens work it up and out. And on the wing, it's Bureau again. Bureau for Sevigny, taken out of the play. Is that the interference call? And away comes Bork. Center ice. Wing to wing. Hines drives. Save Hines. Roy as Hines ripped that one off. And the three right wingers have had excellent chances. Neely, Mullen, and Hines.
Well, you get a look at this save. What I want you to look at is Patrick Roy squaring to the shooter. You aren't going to see it from this angle. But he's got both his arms in front of his body so that the deflection goes into his body. Nice play there by Patrick Roy. And down in proper time. He squares to the shooter as well as anybody in the game.
Shots are even 4 apiece. We played about 6 minutes of the first period. And it's going to last 25 minutes. Dampus chased by Oates. Daigneault takes the hit from Neely, finishing through. Bounces to Roloff, up to Neely, off to Oates. Over the line, looking for Tim Sweeney or Neely. Can't set up Neely. Neely to the boards. Now Oates digging it free, trying to wheel it in front for Roloff. Didn't work. And a breakout here for Montreal. Turgeon with Recchi free, broken up by Don Sweeney. Good play on Turgeon. Puck into the side of the net. And a face-off called. It is no score. First period on UPN 38.
There you go. Oh, the score 0-0 here at the Garden in the 25-minute period. This week, deadly games and a live shot will be seen on Saturday night starting at 8. It's dramatically different Saturday on UPN 38. And now it's here. Now here is Sean McDonough with Terry O'Reilly.
Thank you very much, Derek, and welcome back to Box 26, high above center ice, joined by Terry O'Reilly. Terry, your most vivid memory of playing for the Bruins here in Boston Garden?
Well, Sean, I think there's been a zillion games, and there's been important wins and painful losses, but I think practice mornings, early in the morning, when I would get an early start and get out on the ice, the sheet of ice would be fresh, brand new. There'd be about 50 or 75 pucks out there. If there was an event the night before, the cleaners would be up all through the seats cleaning the popcorn containers and the drink containers, and it was just such a neat feeling to have that whole ice surface to myself. And I'd skate around and say good morning to a few people and then just practice on things that I needed to practice on. That's when I learned how to skate, those early mornings.
Now, I think one of the most interesting stories that I've heard about the closing of the Boston Garden is that you have made the arrangements to take away the penalty box. You led the team in penalty minutes 7 times during your career. What do you plan to do with the penalty box, and how did that idea come about?
Well, the idea has actually grown. It started from just getting a piece of it and making a cribbage board, to actually taking the whole thing. And my first thought was to build it into the house into a recreation room. And then I thought, well, why don't I make it mobile, like a kiosk? Like at Faneuil Hall, they have these little mobile carts, and get everybody to sign it, all the guys that played and spent time in it to sign it, and just make it available. We could probably park it at the Sports Museum, and then if there was a special charity function at one of the local hotels, they could ship it over there. I don't really want to keep it at my house. I really don't have. My wife would agree with me. We really don't have room for a penalty box.
Terry, thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, Sean.
Fred?
Okay, Todd Alec with it. Off a Leach, right wing side. Wing to wing. He can't set up. Hughes couldn't quite reach it as he cut in front. And away comes Kental. Kental trying to go it alone. Rolls it in. Locker tips it wide. Stevenson there. And the pace seems to pick up. They've warmed up now to the task. Hughes can't move it out. Floats across, and Casatana able to get it out for Hughes. Hughes a lead from Leach off wing side with Reed heading for the net, and it doesn't work. Hughes back to check it into the corner, digging for it, and it's Reed. Quick shot save. Oh, wow. Beautiful hard wrist shot by Reed from the left wing boards. Leach, Reed, Hughes, Reed cutting in front. Penalty coming up. He might have been hooked along the way. He got it away on Roy. And Dave Reed trying to break in. We may have the first penalty. We will have it here.
Well, Brent Hughes created a little havoc out there. He is not the most popular Bruins in the Montreal book. Ferguson appears to be getting the gate. Dave Reed had a wonderful opportunity, good hard work out of the corner earlier. Now here's Hughes waiting for the give and go to Reed. Now here goes Reed. Boy, I don't know how that constitutes a hook. I mean, yeah, you're allowed to do some stick checking in this game. You're allowed to tug the arm. Can't haul him down. He got the shot away. Bruins get a little bit of a break there. I've been waiting for this interference call, but no one's really been interfering with anybody, and blatantly at this point.
And the Boston power play. Oates, Tim Sweeney, Neely, Bourque, and the youngster McLaren. McLaren at the left point. First power play of the game. Canadians have been winning most of the faceoffs.
Yes, they have.
This one. And the puck rides free, not out, kept in. Neely up for Oates, back for Neely. A give and go. Couldn't get the handle for the shot. McLaren trying to keep it in. Does with Neely's help at the point. Long shot. Saved Roy. He looked behind, but he had it.
Patrick didn't look too good on that one. Kind of broke off. He's got new pads. I don't know if he really feels good in them yet. Here's Quintal waiting for the shot and going to let Patrick handle. Oh, it gets tipped. Gets tipped there by Tim Sweeney, and it did squirt loose. Just ended up between his feet. That's why Patrick wasn't as comfortable as he normally would have looked. There's a dismal display by the Bruins on faceoffs, 11-3.
Back to McLaren. They win this one. Oates does. Sweeney, Tim puts it in front, and Neely trying to jam it loose. And put it home. Couldn't do it. Bruins are on a power play. Not a bad one. Oates floats over the line on the good pass. Gets by the defense. Moves it out in front. And a one-timer by Bourque. It hopped over his stick.
Adam Oates put that in the air. He didn't mean to. Very tough ice here at the Garden. Obviously, it isn't settled into its thickness and conditioning.
And Bruins changing up on the fly, hustling to keep it in. Can't do it. Ray Bourque still out there. 14:27 left in a scoreless first period. That will be, in all, 25 minutes long. Puck into the stands and a face-off. 54 seconds left on the power play.
Cam Neely in front of the net trying to buy some ice. Just now watch this, puck's going to squirt loose. Patrick really believed he had it. Well, that wasn't it. No, Neely had the backhand anyway. And then the boys started kind of push him around a little bit. Then Keane pushed him, and then Brisebois pushed Neely from behind, which I wouldn't recommend.
Todd Alec on the faceoff. Centers Stevens and Mullen. The Boston College combination. Roy able to flip it out. Ken Hodge will be coming up with Sean McDonough. Look down memory lane here. Last game at the Boston Garden. To the line, Alec trying to set up Stevens. Can't do it. Kept in now for Stevens. Stevens looking for Rolla, cutting for the net. Doesn't work. He's able to keep it in. Left point, Don Sweeney. Mullen. Stevens. Too hard and in his skates. Knocked away. Memory of Phil Esposito, the time he stayed in the ice 7 minutes in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Only came off when he was hooking, and Savard got a groin injury leaning over the dasher, trying to replace it.
Phil, his dream was to play a full 60 minutes, or at least one period.
He just would not come off the ice.
And I distinctly remember, I think he got to the 13-minute mark in Minnesota that night. Phil denies it, of course. He used to go through my line, through Stanfield's line. And we just sit on the bench as the wingers rotated.
And the power play is up. 13 minutes left in a scoreless first period. And a lead now for Donato, may break in. Donato in, backhander. And it's not hard enough. And Roa able to make that save. Good rush in. The Bruins have had some clear opportunities. At the point, Chervyakov able to battle, keep it in. Fire away, and it just goes wide. Both teams have had their chances. Recchi coming back. Recchi across for Quintal. A shot blocked wide.
Nice play there by Chervyakov. Showing a little maturity.
No score. First period at Boston Garden.
Welcome back to Boston Garden. The reason for the cheer you hear, they have introduced some of the ex-Bruins are here during the commercial break. Reggie Lemelin got a tremendous ovation. I'm joined by Ken Hodge. Just before the commercial, Ken, Fred and Derek were talking about Phil Esposito and the fact that he never came off the ice. Is that your recollection of it too?
He never came off the ice, and he loved it. Phil had tremendous stamina, could play the game forever. I remember one particular shift we're in Minnesota, played his regular shift, killed a penalty. We were on a power play, and Beth Quinlan was the coach, and he was trying to get him off the ice, and he couldn't get him off the ice. 10 minutes, I think he stayed out there for, but he's just a phenomenal player that had a great deal of endurance, and he loved to win.
And Ken was telling me during the commercial break that Phil Esposito never perspired during any of that time.
Only his head, only his head, Sean.
And of course, your line, along with Espo and Wayne Cashman, perhaps the greatest in Bruins history, almost the entire time you were here, 9 years with the Bruins, you were on that line, and that must have been special.
It was special playing with both those guys, and it was such an unselfish a line that we complimented each other, and we didn't care who scored the goals, whether it be Phil, myself, or Cash, as long as we could help each other out. I mean, stories abound about Phil one night going into a corner, and Cash threw the puck out in front of the net, and there was nobody there, and he turned to Phil and he says, "What the hell are you doing here?" He says, "Get out where you belong, in front of the net." And that's the way we had our success, and we didn't care. I mean, a bad night was for Phil Esposito if he didn't get 7 or 10 shots a game. Ken, we just had a lot of fun playing.
Thanks for the visit.
Thank you, Sean. Always a pleasure.
Fred, back to you.
Okay, 12:28 left, scoreless first period, and the Canadiens pressing. Campbell's pass broken up, and out comes Neely. Long drive, save. He's got that steaming shot still. Plenty of drive on it, and he's got a couple away in this game already. Campbell takes it behind the net, forechecking Tim Sweeney. Bork moving in, hits Belts. Sevigny. Neely backs him up and keeps it in. Brisebois now with it. Tapped it out. Ray Bork covering. McLaren could be icy. Good fast-moving game. Only one penalty call by Paul Stewart. Nothing wrong with that.
Paul Stewart doesn't call a lot of penalties anyway. He likes the game rough. Starting Monday, Boston's only half-hour 10 p.m. news will be on UPN 38, UPN 38 Prime News. Every night at 10, get all the news, weather, sports you need in 30 minutes. At 10 p.m. news, it gets to the point. Starting October 2nd on UPN 38.
And Lila Orbach, she's good golfer.
Yes, good golfer, good broadcaster, yes.
And the draw, and with it, Savage able to keep it in. Now for Koivu. Koivu, backhander save, good stop. Locker put that stick down and across. Koivu, the backhander and the save, and Mullen trying to steal at the other end in front of the net, couldn't do it. Savage picks it off. 11:30 left, no score. First period, Boston and Montreal in the Garden finale. Savage wraps it in. Roloff takes the hit. Mullen trying to move it out, can't do it. Keane, shot, save, Savage puts it in front. It goes across for Mullen. Mullen a lead, good pass on the move. Kevin Stevens in, backhander, and it's wide. Boy, they look as though they played together at Boston College. On that combination, Joe Mullen to Kevin Stevens. Koivu, long shot over the head of Locker. Kept in by Stevenson as the lines change. Casatana for Hughes. Reed able to get it up. Mullen hasn't left yet. Over the line, looking for Kasatonov. It doesn't work. Back to cover on the clear out, Chervyakov. Ferguson in pursuit. Stevenson. This is a hitting line for Montreal. Load line from center ice. Slaps it in.
Calling it offside.
No score. First period. 10:25 left at Boston Garden.
Let's go, Bruins!
A big game for the Bruins. The fans are ready. The ice is ready. And they're ready to drop the puck. Hey, Bruins fans, celebrate the hottest game in town with the coldest beer on ice. Smooth, refreshing Bud Ice, the official beer of the NHL.
Okay, look here, Joey Mullen, and what experience does for you. He delays here as the puck comes around the boards. In goes the forechecker. Mullen takes it up and holds it. Goodbye. and makes a nice play up the middle to a streaking Kevin Stevens, who kind of blows through the defense, just runs out of room. He'll have more room to execute that play in the Fleet Center in the next little while.
Popovich driving it out. Not icing. Casatano hits Leach. Leach moving it up for Hughes, and he's broken up. And this is a two-line pass to Stevenson. And we have 10:03 left in the first period. No score in the game.
Been a spirited game so far, but very sound defensively. I think you're going to look at Montreal playing that style that they were so successful with for years. They got away from it. Jacques Demers wanted offense with the Damphouses and Bellows and those.
Len Zaglaski, who coached so many years at Boston College, getting the thrill out of this one as he looks at two of his products, Joe Mullen and Kevin Stevens. Into the Boston end, Casatano back for Ferguson after it. Bruins break it out. Reed to Leach over the line. Leach trying to move to the corner. He's hit by Popovich. Digging to the left of Rawat. And back for it, Ferguson. Now to Odeline. Odeline over the line. Fans thought that one was offside. In the corner, Leach is hit. And a drive in save as that drive came from the left point by Daniel. Well, both teams have had their chances. Excellent goaltending by Locker and by Rawat. Damphousse now away to Turgeon. Turgeon, man of many moves, but Damphousse sends him up the middle. And a beautiful play by who else? Raymond Bourque. Sprawl, spread, and broke it up. Let the Canadians keep it in now along the blue line. Brisebois, the pass up. That's checked along the line. Donato trying to get it. Donato out there with Hines. And they can't move it out of the zone. Kept in by Recchi. Recchi broken up by Ray Bourque. Top form Ray Bourque. He's missed some games because of that groin injury, but no sign of it here.
No, his timing seems to be right on the money. He's made a couple of excellent plays. We're going to get a look at him here. Canadians holding the puck well. Bruins finding nobody on the late man. There Ray Bourque has to break it up. Near Recchi comes out of the corner, going to try to feed it down low. Ray Bourque with the stick down on the ice. Nice play by Raymond.
Can play the game from memory now.
Oh yeah, I mean,
not that he has to.
You know the beautiful thing about playing in this game is about your fourth, fifth year, you start to learn to conserve energy and save steps by going directly to places. Joey Mullen is a master at that as well.
And the Bruins win this face-off. Roloff with it. Koivu forechecking. Roloff can't set up Oates. Icing. 8:35 left. No score in the first period.
Stevie Kasper is going to need John Roloff making plays. The Bruins are suspect at defense. They're trying to find 6 good ones. It's going to take a little while.
And this week you can find Star Trek Voyager on UPN's new hit series Nowhere Man on a special night. It's dramatically different. Friday night starting at 8 with Star Trek Voyager and Nowhere Man right here on UPN 38. Bruins work it out. Daniel back for it. Can't move it out. Roloff pinches in, keeps it in up the right wing boards. Oates in the corner digging. Neely is there. Neely comes off the corner in. Tried to go high on the short side and didn't make it. Neely has had his chances. Probably the best overall for Boston. Don Sweeney, a quick shift on Keane, but now he's broken up. Koivu breaks. Possible 2-on-1. Coming up the trailer. Keane gives it to Keane and back checking. Don Sweeney broke it up. Trying to clear it out now. Can't. Savage keeps it in. Savage to Keane. What a play Don Sweeney made. With his great speed, he got back and broke up Keane. It's kept in by Malakoff. His shot locked in the screen. A breakout for Neely. Neely off for Oates. Tim Sweeney offside at the blue line. 7:33 left. Scoreless first period. Back in a moment on UPN 38.
Donnie Sweeney has lost the puck here. Cam Neely coming into your screen. There's Sweeney deep. Neely, watch the back-checking hustle of Neely. Forces the winger wide. Don Sweeney allows him to get back into the play. Good hustle by the Bruins. We'll throw up now to Sean McDonough and Gary Doak.
Thank you very much, Derek. Gary, how about your favorite Garden memory?
Well, I have to go back to 69-70, I guess, when Bobby Orr scored that famous goal. Everybody says the same thing, likely, but that was a fantastic thing here in Boston. You know, it's a long time before he'd won the Cup, and the 69-70 Stanley Cup was a fantastic thing to happen, and when Bobby scored that goal is my favorite memory.
Could you talk a little bit about what it was like to be a Bruin during that era? I mean, I think hockey captured this city unlike perhaps any sport has at any other time in this city.
Yes, definitely, Sean, that's for sure. And it's just, I was saying the other day, I don't think that'll ever happen again in sports, but everybody in Boston was involved, from, you know, all the players who didn't play very much, and from all the big players. Everybody it felt like you were really a part of the team, and just being close to the action, everybody got a chance to play eventually, and I think the fans were so involved. It was just terrific.
You told me you had a chance to see the Fleet Center already. Your impressions?
Well, it's a beautiful spot, and I just said to you before we came on the air here that after the people see the new Fleet Center, they will forget about the Boston Gardens as far as the facility goes. It's long overdue, and I think the people of Boston will really appreciate when they see it.
And I'm sure the folks are curious to know what you're doing these days.
Well, I'm with the Metropolitan District Commission right now as Recreation Director, and enjoying it a lot.
Gary Doak, former Bruin defenseman and a member of the coaching staff here with the Bruins. Fred and Derek, back to you.
Okay, here's Hines coming. He's all alone. Two-man defense to beat, and he's checked by Kental into the corner. Puck kept in, though, by the Bruins. And a save by Roy. That's on Todd Alec, who had a good chance. McEachran rolls it in front, right at the crease, just knocked away, and iced by Montreal.
We're getting a look at Todd Alec tonight. Todd Alec, I thought he was a great future player for the Minnesota North Stars while they were in Minnesota, and he's kind of bounced around a little bit and hasn't really found a home, but he is one very good centerman. Sound defensively, rugged, good with the puck. Here, nice shot. Boom. Patrick gets out with the blocker. Got it upstairs. This one squirts into the goal crease, but it finds his leg. Roy is so adept at that, getting those legs closed.
The shots are 10-7 for Boston. Montreal has won 15 faceoffs. Hard drive here, and that's blocked on Joe Mullen. Slap shot as Alec got him the faceoff. Blocked, though, and a screen of players in front of Roy. Bruins pressed to keep it in. Mullen on the right wing side. Wraps it around. Kevin Stevens there. He fell down on the play. Checked by Ferguson. He wasn't knocked down. In the corner, Alec. Alec able to maneuver, keep it. Trying to come off the corner, has trouble. Checked by Ferguson. Now it's broken up by Odelard. And finally bounces up near the line. The loose puck is picked up by Kevin Stevens. Lost control. Tried to make a backhand pass there. And knocking it away is Brashear down to the Boston end. McLaren looking for Bork. Bork winding up. A long lead. Alec is onside. Alec for Stevens. Off for Mullen, trying to control it, but the shot is blocked by Stevenson and goes into the stands of the faceoff to the right of Roy. 5:11 left in a scoreless first period.
I get a look at Kevin Stevens. Playing very hard. Had a little tough luck around the net as far in the preseason. Had his chances, as has Neely. Neely without a goal yet. When you're a veteran player, there's other things you work on. When you're a rookie, you got to start getting the points.
And for those of you tuning in right now to see Deadly Games at Live Shot, please join us Saturday night starting at 8. A special night of Deadly Games and Live Shot here on UPN 38. Oh, we do have Live Shot.
Yeah, we do.
Some lively Neely shots.
Yeah.
And we have 5 minutes left. And the draw in the Montreal zone.
Seems strange to say 5 minutes left in the half.
Long pass to the Boston end. Back for Don Sweeney in pursuit. Recchi checks him on the play. Pass in front. Quick shot wide by Turgeon. Well set up just outside the crease. Daniel drives. Save. Locker hangs on. And it is no score. First period at Boston Garden.
Thanks to the Bruins. I'd like to recognize and welcome more of the former Bruins in attendance for tonight's Last Hurrah here at
Welcome back to the Last Hurrah at Boston Garden. Sean McDonough with Fred Cusick and Derek Sanderson. Fred has made his way down toward ice level to take part in the halftime ceremony. So Derek and I are in a rather unique arrangement. I'm going to work the game from box 26, and Derek is across the ice in the broadcast booth. And Derek, you'd have to admit that's the best broadcast booth in hockey, and that's one thing that will definitely be a negative change as far as broadcasters are concerned.
You'd never be able to duplicate this. A wonderful location.
And no score. 4.5 minutes left in the first half. Pierre Turgeon into the zone for Montreal. He was checked off the puck by Don Sweeney. Now it's Tim Sweeney to Adam Oates. Sweeney has been on this line with Oates and Neely tonight. And back come the Canadiens. Recchi for Turgeon, looking for Damphus, his one-timer off the skate of Oates, and taken back by Tim Sweeney. Down to 4:10 remaining in the first half. Don Sweeney, Cam Neely, his pass off the skate of Malakoff. Oates trying to move in. He got chopped down, and the puck cleared to center ice by Montreal. Kasatonov trying to send it ahead. Koivu picked it off. And the play offside. Mike Keane, the Montreal captain, trying to move in.
Get a look at Koivu, first-round pick for the Canadiens. A wonderful player, very speedy, quick, agile, great pair of hands. They look forward to big offense from him.
And Derek, they need it, don't you think? This looks right now at least like a one-line team, the Turgeon line.
Yeah, they have all their eggs in the one basket. Koivu, there's a lot of pressure on him, Sean, to deliver. He doesn't right now. I don't know if he can do it. I mean, he certainly was, you know, in the Olympics. He's a standout in Finland. So and the Finnish players are a little bit tougher brand of player, so he's used to the physical play.
I saw him play in person in Lillehammer in the Olympics of '94, and he might have been the best player in the entire Olympic tournament. The puck goes into the penalty box area, soon to be the property of Terry O'Reilly. Did you ask for any of the memorabilia, Derek, that you wanted to take home with you?
No, there's always somebody more famous had claim to it. You know, I would, you know, just being part of it was a wonderful opportunity. There's the ticket. That's the memorabilia ticket of tonight's game. So you got that in your pocket to say you're at the Garden. 300,000 people will claim they were here. Unfortunately, there won't be that many.
And unfortunately, they punched a hole in my ticket. When you come up to this level, they punch a hole to make sure you don't try to sneak anybody else up here. This is Koivu. And it's off the blocker of Locker and skated away by Steve Leach, but a penalty here.
Brent Hughes is going to get the gate, Sean. That was a beautiful save by Locker, but an excellent execution by Koivu. Off the wing, just snapped it. Almost caught Locker sleeping. Just throws that right arm out. Just gets a peek at it in the screen. Just got enough of it, though. There's the interference we've talked about. Chervyakov taken out of the play, but Locker reacts to the puck well. So we got Brent Hughes for hooking at 21:38, and Fred referred to it as the first period. It is the first half.
Yes, it is. Hughes took Mike Keane out of the play, so Montreal is on the power play trying to break this scoreless tie. 3:18 left in the first half. Bork couldn't clear it. Recchi chases it to the boards, flips it in behind the net for Turgeon, trying to move away from Kyle McLaren. Now Recchi has Brisebois at the point. Recchi has it back. Minute 40 left on the power play. Recchi, a one-timer, deflected wide of the net by McLaren. Bruins failed to clear. Damphus kept it in into the left wing corner. Bork first there off the glass, but not out. Recchi knocked it down, then Bork tried to bat it out of the zone. Here's Ted Donato, able to clear it. Hit the linesman Kevin Collins, then didn't go all the way down. Steve Hines couldn't break in. Malakoff poked it to the corner. Brisebois takes it behind the net. Minute 15 left on the penalty to Brent Hughes. And we're down to 2.5 minutes left in the first half. You'll want to stay tuned at halftime for the ceremony the Bruins organization has planned.
John Roloff took that shot in the foot. He is injured.
And he has gone to the bench. Under a minute now left on the Montreal power play. No score in the game. Koivu had his pass deflected into the crowd, and a souvenir for that lucky fan.
What you're going to see here, Sean, I believe, is what the Montreal Canadian philosophy will probably be all year long, is leave it up to good, sound defensive play and a very good power play with Damphus and Mark Recchi and the like. They have some offense out there. Now they've gone to their second power play with Campbell, Savage, and Koivu.
And 52 seconds left on the power play. We had the shot of Jacques Demers, the Montreal coach. I was fortunate to listen into a conversation Jacques had with Harry Sinden in the hallway about an hour before tonight's game, and Jacques expressed that the Montreal Canadiens were really flattered and honored to be asked to be here tonight and be a part of the Last Hurrah.
Jacques DeMuro, ever the politician. There isn't a camera he ever disliked.
He did have the knack for saying the right thing in that setting before the game, that's for sure. Sean McEachran overskated the puck as he tried to break in shorthanded. Now Jim Campbell out of Worcester left it for Koivu and back for Campbell. Now Savage just inside the line, bothered by Kasatonov. Here's room for Quintal, but he had it poked away as he tried to feed it off to Koivu. And a penalty here called by Paul Stewart, another interference call.
Had him on the interference on Koivu on Chervyakov. Chervyakov made a great defensive play to break this 3-on-1 up. Now it's a 3-on-1 down low with no one moving. But Chervyakov anticipates Quintal's backhand pass. And there's the interference. He would not let Chervyakov get to the loose puck. He did not have the puck. However, Chervyakov was technically the last player to touch it. So he is eligible to be hit. But the league is trying to crack down on that body interference. Trying to make sure that the forechecker can't get to the puck carrier is no longer acceptable in the league.
Derek, do you think that will last as a point of emphasis? Do you think that's one of those things they'll make a point of at the beginning of the year and then it'll get forgotten about?
Well, they did it last year in training camp, and then it waned, Sean, you're right, in about 3 weeks. They had a diving penalty last year for players that faked a penalty call against them. So I hope it stays because the game should be more wide open. That neutral zone trap is killing it.
Yeah. And the Bruins are now on the power play as the penalty to Hughes has expired. Bourque down low, save Roy. And Stevens chases it to the corner. He was bumped into the boards by Malakoff. Now Ellick back for Ray Bourque with some room. Back for Todd Ellick. Free agent acquisition. He's been impressive in camp. One-timer McLaren blocked out of the zone. And there's an injured Canadian, Bureau, who blocked the shot. Was slow to get up, and now he limps toward the Canadian bench.
Kyle McLaren unloaded all 6'5" of him on that shot. Got great wood on the one-timer as it was deflected away from Kevin Stevens, and the original pass should have been from Ellick to Kyle McLaren. He was all alone on the point, but trying to feed it to Stevens, it gets tipped. There's the shot and there's the block. Nearly tore the foot off Mark Bureau. Hey, boy, that's smart. He appears to be okay.
Derek, only one thing wrong with my seat tonight. I can't see the penalty time remaining. How much time left on this Montreal penalty?
We have 1:18 on Koivu's penalty. I'll help you out whenever I can.
Appreciate it. I think in the new building there won't be these kinds of obstructions.
I've never done a game alone like this, 200 feet apart. This is unique.
Cam Neely with under a minute left in the period. No score. Kevin Stevens into forecheck. The puck went past Oates, and Recchi got it to the line and out. Ruled the linesman, Ray Bourque. Close to the line, but not on it. Wasn't that emotional before the game? We had a great shot of Ray Bourque just as the national anthems ended, and I think that was the most emotional part of the evening so far. And look from here that Ray Bourque was more than a little bit choked up.
Well, I think there's a tremendous amount of, mystique that comes with the old guard, and he's had some great years here, obviously, as have a lot of other players. But I think the gathering of all the old players and guys that I looked up to as a boy, Leo Labine and Fernie Flaman and those guys, they're all here. And then the story starts, Sean, and everybody gets a little bit better. Everybody lies a little bit more. And the humor and the camaraderie, I think it's all part of the mystique.
30 seconds left in the half. Bruins still on the power play. McLaren through center ice. And flips it in wide to Roy. Patrick out to play it into the corner. Neely anticipated that play and was there to stop the puck. Now back of the line, Bourque. He lets it go off the blocker Roy. Neely on his knees couldn't make a play, but managed to move it to Stevens. Now Oates behind the net. 10 seconds left in the half. McLaren couldn't stop a tough pass back to the point. And it looks like we'll head to the half with no score. Bourque shoots one in wide, and the first half expires. And just as it does, Kevin Collins in to make sure that nothing happens between Kyle McLaren and Lyle Odeline.
Here Cam Neely trying to back up McLaren. McLaren made a nice hit on Mike Keane just at the buzzer. So Lyle Odeline gave McLaren a little pop. Cam Neely says, hey, who do you think you are? Let's calm down. Kid's just doing his job. Kyle McLaren has to feel comfortable. You got Cam Neely coming to your rescue. There's the hit. The whistle's gone. There's McLaren. There's the bunt. Now, Kyle McLaren did not finish that check. There's the shove by Odeline. And Cam Neely comes in. Just kind of glides through. Just got grabbed right there by number 22. The referee.
Well, it wouldn't truly be the last hurrah. There wasn't a little bit of friction between the Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens, and that's what we had to close out the first half. Halftime here at the Garden. No score. We'll be back with the halftime ceremonies in just a moment on UPN 38. Boston Bruins hockey on UPN 38 is brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth New England. If you want to know what's new, we'll show you. By Baybank. For banking anytime, you have time. And by 9X. Welcome back to the Last Hurrah at Boston Garden. Halftime between the Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins, and there is no score. As we mentioned a couple of times during tonight's broadcast, special halftime ceremonies are planned. Let's head down to ice level now and join Bruins public address announcer Jim Martin.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center ice for tonight's halftime festivities. We now recognize those honored guests representing the Boston media, National Hockey League, and the Bruins' great opponents over their history in Boston Garden. Each guest will receive a crystal sculpture from Tyrone Irish Crystal commemorating their participation this evening from Bruins Assistant General Manager Mike O'Connell. Introducing these guests is a man who is one of the most respected members of the Boston media for over 30 years at WCVB Channel 5. Please welcome Clark Booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the Bruins, and patrons of this fine old place, the Boston Garden. On this rather mellow, sentimental evening, the Bruins want to pay tribute, at least symbolically, to all of the folks who have brought their special talents to this building over the last 67 years in the playing and promoting of the great game of hockey. To help do so, we will present to you in these ceremonies 7 honored guests and 7 distinguished opponents. They are representatives of that vast legion of hockey men that has roamed this building on game nights dating back to 1928. As each of our guests is introduced, Bruins General Manager Mike O'Connell will present a gift commemorating this special occasion. We begin with a New England institution. He saw his first Bruins game Christmas week of 1930, and he recalls that Eddie Shore scored a goal that evening against Montreal. His first broadcast of a Bruins game came in November of 1952. At the age of 77, he is embarking on his 44th season of broadcasting Bruins hockey. A member of the broadcasters wing of the Hockey Hall of Fame, Mr. Fred Cusick. He seemed to us to be Fred's alter ego, the flip side of a most remarkable broadcasting play-by-play tradition. He was weaned on the Bruins of the 40s and the long gone but not to be forgotten Boston Olympics. He retired last winter after 29 years as the booming radio voice of Bruins hockey, a member of the broadcasters wing of the Hockey Hall of Fame, Mr. Bob Wilson. the scribes, and these are two of the finest. A true hockey folklorist and keeper of the game's legends, he has an anecdote to offer about every chap he ever covered for the Record American and Herald Traveler of sacred memory, and more recently the Boston Herald and Sports Illustrated. He is a member of the writers section of the Hockey Hall of Fame, Mr. D. Leo Monahan. From the Boston Globe, he was long the Bruins beat man, covering them in the glory days of the Bobby Orr era, and the never a dull moment days of the Don Cherry era. An Iron Man of the press box, he is also a member of the writers section of the Hockey Hall of Fame, Mr. Fran Rosa. We have with us three gentlemen representing the National Hockey League in various ways, and each has been a very familiar face around this building over the many years. A National Hockey League executive since 1966, rising to the rank of Vice President of the League, he is a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, class of 1994, Mr. Brian O'Neill. He rose from coach of the Toronto Marlboros to be Vice President of Hockey Operations for the National Hockey League, while also serving along the way as General Manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mr. Jim Gregory. He worked his very first game here at the Garden, and he was a very firm but civil force on the ice for the roughly 1,700 games that he worked as a linesman over 25 seasons. He is now the National Hockey League Supervisor of Officials, a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, class of 1993, Mr. John D'Amico. For the first 4 decades of the Boston Garden era, the National Hockey League was a small and intimate lodge, a band of brothers from the cities of Boston and New York, Chicago and Detroit, Toronto and Montreal. The 7 honored opponents that we will now introduce variously represent the other 5 cities of the original 6. He started with the Rangers, but achieved fame leading the Toronto Maple Leafs to 4 Stanley Cups in the 60s. He was a battling goalie in an age when men were men and goaltenders did not wear masks. A member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, class of 1976, Mr. Johnny Bauer. He will be remembered best for all the years he led his splendid New York Ranger teams into town when they featured Brad Park and Jean Martel. But before his coaching days, he was a feisty goalie for the Rangers and the Blackhawks. A member of the Hall of Fame, class of 1982, Mr. Emile the Cat Francis. He was the original European import, a total player from Czechoslovakia, who won 4 scoring titles, 2 Hart trophies, and, quite amazingly, given the tenacity of his play, 2 Lady Bings. The essence of the Chicago Blackhawks of the 60s and 70s, and a member of the Hall of Fame, class of 1983, Mr. Stan Mikita. He'll be remembered as a sidekick of Gordie Howe on the Detroit Red Wings, and for later leading the Montreal Canadiens to a Stanley Cup that the Bruins believed they would win in 1971. But he should be best remembered as the Big M of the Toronto Maple Leafs, a member of the Hall of Fame, class of 1981, Mr. Frank Mahovlich. He was the cop on the beat, and he was probably born to play for the Boston Bruins, but he ended up in Montreal instead, where in 8 seasons he played for 5 Stanley Cup winners. Known as Fergie, he backed down from no one, a quality that Bruins fans have always appreciated. Now the player personnel director of the Ottawa Senators, Mr. John Ferguson. Our next guest has made this statement about this occasion, and I quote, "To the Boston organization and the great Boston hockey fans, I thank you for all my cherished hockey memories," unquote. It is the sort of elegant gesture that has marked his works on and off the ice for more than 40 years. The ultimate captain of the Montreal Canadiens and a member of the Hall of Fame, class of 1972, Jean Beliveau. And finally, he was the Ty Cobb of hockey, a player of such fierce will and skill that his presence on the ice was often literally chilling. They called him the Rocket. And it was evocative of his stature in his day. Time has diminished none of that. A member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, the class of 1961, Maurice the Rocket Richard. It has always been the special grace of Boston Bruin fans in this building to have a keen regard for worthy opponents who have conducted themselves with dignity. You have demonstrated that again tonight, one last time. So we thank you for that. And let us now have one last tribute to these representative hockey men.
And Derek, as the gentlemen pose for a picture, you have to have a lump in your throat after you watch that.
I'll tell you, it brought memories back as a boy. I mean, wonderful working with Fred, Maurice Richard, Jean Beliveau, Ferguson, Mahavlich, Stan Mikita, the Cat, Johnny Bauer. Johnny Bauer, my mother loves Johnny Bauer. She just, yeah, I was on a breakaway one night and I got tripped from behind and I was going in, lost the puck, and Johnny Bauer threw both legs out. In those days, the moorings of the net were attached to it very strongly. I was going to break a leg and he just stuck his legs out and saved me. So my mother loves him ever since then.
And I know we both have a great deal of admiration and affection for our friend and colleague Fred Cusick, and what an ovation he received. Derek, as you know better than I, he is one of the most modest, humble men that either of us know.
Sean, but
and boy, wasn't that wonderful for Fred.
But I mean, it's something, a tribute he deserves. He's a shy man, and he's very actually, I like to tease him of being a curmudgeon, but he is a sweet man, and he's a great guy to work with. Wonderful tribute to him, and well-deserved.
Indeed it is. We'll come back and talk with Bruins president Harry Sinden as the Last Hurrah continues from Boston Garden after this. Welcome back to the Boston Garden, the Last Hurrah at halftime. I'm joined by the president and general manager of the Boston Bruins, Harry Sinden. And Harry, I'd imagine this is a night of many emotions for you. I know the organization is very excited about heading into the new Fleet Center, but you have a tremendous number of memories for this grand old building.
Yeah, I do, Sean. And as this game's been going on and the affairs we've had before the game with the alumni and the great players of our history, it's been growing, these emotions, and I'm sure I'm gonna, by the time I go through the ceremonies at the end of the game, I'm gonna feel pretty nostalgic about the whole thing.
We were talking before we came on the air that this whole event is that much more special because the Montreal Canadiens are here, and when you think about the Bruins in this building, you think very quickly thereafter about Montreal as well.
Well, you know, as fierce an opponent as they've been, they are our most cherished rival. We've had some of our greatest games against them, and we've, you know, it's just fitting. They opened this building in 1928. They're closing it in 1995, and it's just, they've been a wonderful organization that has nothing but respect from ours, and I'm glad they're here tonight.
And the question that obviously we're asking everybody is the memory that most stands out of the Boston Garden for you personally.
I have two. I have many memories, but I have two that stand out. One is, of course, Bobby's goal in 1970 to win the first cup for the team in 29 years. And the second was the night that Raymond Bourque turned over his jersey, number 7, to Phil Esposito so it could be retired, and began wearing number 97, or 77. And those two things I'll never forget.
Harry, thanks very much, and congratulations to the entire organization on a great night.
Thank you, Sean.
We'll have more from Boston Garden in a moment. Welcome back to the Boston Garden. It's the Last Hurrah. We're at halftime, and we're pleased to be joined now by the managing director of the Montreal Canadiens, Serge Savard, who has experienced this Bruin-Montreal rivalry as both a player and as an executive. We talked with Harry Sinden a while back. He told us before we came on the air that it seemed like to him the only time the Bruins could beat Montreal was after you retired as a player and went into management. But your memories as what it was like to come in here playing for Montreal at the Garden.
Well, Boston was really the main rivalry with Montreal with all those years, and you know, we won more than our shares of, especially in the playoffs. But a couple of times we were lucky, but this thing's been reversed in the last 5 years. But I have great memories of some great players that played in the Garden and with the Bruins, and especially Bobby Orr, that I admire a lot, and I think he's the best player ever that played this game, at least that I've seen.
I know a lot of people in this area share that opinion. Serge, any particular game or moment for you personally that stands out as you reflect back on your experience here at the Garden?
Well, it's hard to pinpoint one game that I'll be a little bit selfish, but I would say it's in 77, the last game, the Stanley Cup playoff, that we won the cup here, and I did replace Yvan Cournoyer as a captain that year, and the cup was handed to me by Mr. Campbell, which was his last time. He retired after that.
Well, thank you for being with us tonight, and good luck to your team this season.
Thank you.
We'll have more from Boston Garden in a moment. Perhaps the greatest Garden moment came when Bobby Orr completed a perfect give-and-go from Derek Sanderson to beat the St. Louis Blues in overtime, a goal which clinched the Stanley Cup for the Bruins in 1970. Also on the ice at that time was Bruins forward Ed Westfall. During a recent visit to Boston, Ed and our own Derek Sanderson took one last look around the Garden, and here now is an encore presentation of their tour.
Well, the paint's a little bit newer, and some of the names, Ray Bourque, as you get a look at that, that's different. I can remember sitting down and near that corner with Eddie Johnson, the goaltender, and Bobby Orr was next to me, and of course we had Jerry Cheevers. The goaltenders didn't really like to sit together. And then down here where I couldn't see him half the time when we were in the dressing room was my old friend Derek, the pivot, known as the pivot. And that's because he was my center iceman for all the fun years that we had here.
Oh, it was great.
And it all started here in this dressing room. Who was sitting around here with you?
You're sitting where Phil sat, Esposito.
Yeah.
Chief sat there.
Johnny Busey.
Yeah, and it was whoever they brought up from the minors.
Yeah, always sat next to you.
Shaky Walton was the famous one.
Well, yeah, because you could smoke in the dressing room.
Yeah, you did.
Smoked, and they always put a rookie there because he couldn't complain.
No, well, I mean, they had 7, 8 cigars in this room going.
Yeah, well, they were all right, yeah.
Yeah, everybody had the cigars.
But
and in those days, we didn't wear glasses.
No.
No.
No, we didn't have a lot of things we didn't wear.
No, cheaters,
our teeth were our own, and
yeah, those days are gone.
Yeah, obstructed view in the dressing room, the same as they have out in the rink.
You know, the great reason I used the pillar was when I had a bad period. Bobby Orr would be sitting over there, and he used to glare at you if you played poorly.
Yeah.
So I used to just kind of move up a little bit, and then Bobby
I knew that because I had to sit beside him. Yeah. Yeah, and he got abusive.
Yeah, he wouldn't put the, you look, if you played well, you sat over, hey, Bobby, yeah, I'm playing good. No, Bobby, I'm playing bad.
Yeah. We were sitting here. We'd always kill the penalties. We'd be yelling at the guys on the ice, chicken, take a penalty. We needed more ice time.
Well, I would have preferred to play the power play. But...
Yeah, well, forget it. You think Phil Esposito was going to let you play the power play?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. Remember when we used to sit here?
Well, they didn't have this. They didn't have the mat.
There was holes in the floor.
There were slats there. Yeah.
And every now and then, a rat.
And they never had that. And they had rats that would come up and try to eat the popcorn and the food. They would come up, and then you just get them. You get them.
It's like spear fishing.
Well, you had nothing to do if you were, you weren't getting any ice time.
And they weren't getting any penalties.
You're in the doghouse or whatever. You could get them. Yeah, those were a big part of this game. 5 against 3. You can't see a thing.
No. Anyway.
What about this guy now? What's this guy gonna do?
How much would a guy pay for this seat, I wonder?
I think it's $16.
They'd have to pay me to sit in this seat.
As long as the team held it in,
Yeah.
You can sit here like this.
But
what about this guy? Where does he sit?
Yeah. Well, first you got no place to put your feet. How would you like to be the guy next to you? You're in his lap.
Yeah, if he's not a family member, you're in serious trouble. Yeah. I remember when I came here in 1965. Played a game against the Oshawa junior game against Bobby.
They built it, you against Orr.
They told us they were getting a new building then.
Well,
don't worry, by the time you turn pro, you get a new building. I never did get one. I played my whole career.
61 when I got here, and there was only one tunnel in Boston. They were saying it then, so now they're going to make it a reality.
Some grand memories, Fred. Eddie Westfall, one of the greats in the game. Played golf with him today, as a matter of fact, over at the country club with Don Callahan and Stan Mikita. Get a look at Eddie Westfall. He did that piece during last season for the Islanders. He's one of the greats, I'll tell you. That's his wife, Polly. God bless him. Nice man. Fred, I have to make comment on this. The ovation you got. You had to feel good about that.
Very nice. Yes, sir. After all these years, that was a thrill. That was terrific. And very nice ceremonies, and more to come after the game. You'll be down there?
Lots of them. All the guys are here. I mean, there's a ton of people. I mean, it's not just going to be, just the end of the game and a few hi, how are you? It's just going to go right to her. But I tell you, I felt very good. You deserved that ovation.
Thank you
very
much.
Hats off to you.
And another fellow who deserves an ovation, Ken London. He's now with Kramer Productions, and we have Russ Ken and Greg Hopke.
Yeah.
Hopfe doing
Greg Hopfe doing the game.
During the game. And
new team. Sean McDonough up in the box, doing some wonderful interviews, bringing a little magic to the building.
Oh, it is a great night. Paul Stewart about to face them off. I remember when his grandfather was a referee in the National
I called him number 22. I don't think Paul's going to like that. I keep on using his name all the time. He'll be mad at me. Everybody in Hyannis Sports say number 22. That's Paul Stewart. I think Paul is, if not the best, one of the best officials in the game today.
Handling this one beautifully here. And for Ray Bourque, ready to start it out in the second period, the second half.
Ooh, nifty little move there by McLaren.
Has good instincts.
Yes, he does.
But now it's full strength. Torbo is out of the box. And he is checked by McLaren and broken up. Never really was organized. Oates breaks away over the line. Stick handling, trying to sift through. And can't quite do it. Does center it. And McLaren a shot on, a save, and the rebound. Tim Sweeney can't get it as he spilled.
That was a nice shot by McLaren. That was a difficult one to handle. That was a, I hope it hits me type of save by Patrick Roy. And his head down there.
A heavy hit there. And a breakaway by Recchi with Damphus back. And they trade passes, and Damphus missed the net. Each member of the line had a chance there on the pass. And Damphus the final one. And the Bruins come right back. And a score by Mullen. Joey Mullen makes it 1-0 Boston.
How important it is to cash them in when you have the opportunities in this game. It is repeatedly happens. Montreal come down, steal the puck at center ice, make it a little bit too fancy around the net. Blaine Locker kind of holding his position. Here's Adam Oates on the wait. Watch this. Draw it, slide it from between skate and stick, and Joey Mullen finds 5-hole. Patrick Roy beaten for the first time tonight. 1-0 Boston.
Adam Oates on the assist, and the Bruins lead. Joey Mullen, 104. Third goal of the preseason. And he can score.
He just keeps on going, Joey Mullen. I asked him the other night, was at a function for Brian Curtin, and he said, the guy said, what about Joey Mullen? I said, maybe they thought he was finished 10 years ago. He's just one of those players that can play this game and play it well. Opportunistic, smart, steady.
Kental keeps it in now. Roloff trying to move it out. Stopped by Recchi. That big line on there for Montreal. Recchi deep. Roloff checking him. Here's Turgeon. Tricky moves behind the net. Holding. Have to be careful. And he works it in front. Great save there by Locker as Turgeon came out in front.
Unbelievable save by Blaine Locker. He he tightens up to the short side. He knows that's where all the bodies are. Watch him. He stays to the right post. Stays there, then the backhand, he's ready for Turgeon. One of the best in the business is Pierre Turgeon coming from behind the net. Watch as they work it down low. Nice, good defensive work by Roloff to take his man, but he doesn't panic. He doesn't leave the post. That's where the only Canadian Damphus is. And Mark Recchi, and he picks off the backhand.
That goal by Joey Mullen came on a line shift for Boston. The Oates line out there. Mullen has been playing with Todd Ellick and had come out there replacing Neely. Propitious moment for the Bruins. Brashear in the corner. Now Stevenson. Broken up. Heckeren able to clear it out. Canadians start from their end. A 1-0 lead for Boston. It is Mullen from Oates, and
I think it might just be from Oates.
Canadians break it out. A possible 3-on-2. Wow. Roll it in, and a save by Locker, but that was routine as misfire by Brashear.
But the thing about Brashear there, he has to drift wide. That's what he is. He's an up and down winger. He's a banger and a hitter. But a little more finesse was necessary there. All Brashear had to do is drift left and open it up. He had 4 bodies with him. He had some people to make the play to, and they're an extra body, and he flips it in on the goalkeeper. Got to learn to handle it a little bit better. There he is getting a little pat in the back. See, now he's mad at himself. Just has to learn to drift left. Stop skating if you want to, but drift left to the boards and hold on to it and let the play open up.
But he's not that type of player.
No, that's why he's not that type.
You're not going to look at finesse here.
But no, but you got to say to yourself, Donald, next time that happens, this is what you do. And he's got to get it. He's got to get it together. Because he's got all the other tools.
Block in front by Bork, gets it out to Hughes, but Reed to Leach, over the line, the shot, the save, or while the rebound, bounces off Reed and goes wide of the net. Hughes digging in the corner, comes out with it, works it in front, drops it for Leach, shot wide in a screen there as Reed was blocking Lawal's vision. Leach forced back on the play. Ray Bork with McLaren, the rookie. And pass out for Leach. Bounces around center ice. Bobby Orr coming up for his comments on this marvelous night at Boston Garden. The finale. 1-0 the Bruins lead. Joe Mullen with the score. Pass to Leach. He can't cut in front with it. Good play by McLaren using the glove to block that bouncing puck. But here comes Campbell. Campbell checked by Bork. Campbell really misfired on that. Bork had him covered. Reed to Hughes. Hughes streaking over the line, trying to go deep. Forced wide. Kogo in deep. Gola moves it to the corner, trying to make the play there. Out it comes to Kental. Kental on Don Sweeney. Up the right wing boards. Neely behind the net. Quavo. Quavo giving away a lot there on that one. And Don Sweeney in to get it, lose it. And Neely.
Good play.
Ices it. It is 1-0 Boston. Second period at Boston Garden. Sean McDonough with Bobby Orr, high above rinkside.
Thank you very much, Fred. Bobby, you ever score any goals in this building?
I was lucky, got a couple, Sean.
Well, we've been talking to people throughout the night, many players and coaches from your era, and it seems almost unanimous choice for the most memorable Garden moment was your goal in 1970. I'd assume it's safe to say it is for you, too.
Well, it certainly is a highlight, but I've been very lucky. I was very lucky throughout my career here in Boston. I have a lot of great memories from here in the grand old building. I can remember the first time I was here and played against Derek and had a wonderful time. He beat me up. But as a junior, I was here, and I can remember standing up top watching the Bruins warm up before a game, and it was very exciting for 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. So a lot of great memories. Yes, 1970. The Stanley Cup win. The goal was nice, and I was happy to have scored it. But being part of a Stanley Cup team was the thing.
Now, you heard Derek's piece with Eddie Westfall during halftime. Did you really used to glare at him if he wasn't playing well?
I guess I did. I mean, I must have, because, oops.
Wonderful save by Locker.
It's going to be all right.
I want to take you back, if I can, to the goal from 1970. Do you find it at all unsettling that the building in which that great moment happened for you and for your teammates is going to be gone forever?
Well, it's sad that the building is gone, but you know, we must go on. I think when the fans see the new Fleet Center, they'll be very, very happy with it. It's a wonderful building, and what makes this building so special, the players, you know, the television people, the writers that you know, we were very close. Even the writers would come with the players, and the TV broadcasters. The Bull Gang. We always had long conversations and nice times with the Bull Gang, the cleaning crew. So a lot of things made this building special. You know, it's 1995. We have to go on. We will always have those memories. So tonight is if it can be sad and happy at the same time, it is a sad and happy night. I'm sad that the Garden is going, but I'm happy with the way they're ending the Gardens. The hockey part of the Gardens, I think it's first class, and the team is moving into a wonderful building.
I think that sums it up beautifully, because that's the way I feel too. You know, I'm one of those people who've been looking forward to the new building and really feel that we need it. It's time for this building to go. But then you walk in here tonight and all the memories start to come back, and I wonder how often you reflect back on that goal in 1970. Is that something you think about every day, several times a day, or is it not as vivid a memory anymore?
I don't think about it a whole lot. It's brought up to me a whole lot. But,
about 4 times in this interview.
But I've been very lucky. I mean, my parents are here tonight, and I think it's the first time I'm sure it's the first time my mother has ever been in Boston Garden. She would come down here with my father, but she didn't like to see me play. I think she was afraid her little boy was going to get hurt. So my dad would come to the games. My mom would stay at home. So they're having a marvelous time. My parents are here tonight, so it's good to have them here. I've had a lot of great memories. As I said, I can remember my first game as a Bruin, league game as a Bruin against Detroit. Gordie Howe, I guess he wanted to let the kid know that he was still around. I was watching a pass, had my head down, and he hit me pretty hard. So, you know, in the 70 Stanley Cup win, it was like it was yesterday, Chief carrying that Stanley Cup around Boston Garden Ice. So a lot of great memories. We have a lot of great friends in Boston. All the teammates are here tonight, so it's a very special night.
And at least one more great memory that will remain. We think the post-game ceremony promises to be very touching.
My father said today, he says, "Jesus," he says, "there's probably been a lot of tears," and I said, "Nah." As it's getting closer, I'm beginning to agree with my father. There could be some tears tonight.
You feel yourself welling up a bit.
It's going to be tough, although I do believe it's time to go to a new building. There's still a lot of special memories here, and hey, it's the last night for hockey, and it's going to be sad.
You all know who this man is. Fred, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Sean. And 42 seconds left on a Canadian power play. We welcome Johnny Pearson here to our telecast. The analyst, John, welcome. And what about tonight?
Well, you know, Fred, I think if you look at the Bruins on paper this year, maybe the best team that they've had in some years. I think there's a lot of optimism around. I think there are two areas where I think they probably need some help, and one of those may be on defense. It would be nice to see Iafrate out there, but the youngster McLaren looks like he can stick with this team, and I think so far they played reasonably well.
Okay, the power play continues. Stefan Quintal is on it for Montreal. Into the corner, Roloff trying to get it. Koivu. Now Reed comes off with it and able to knock it out. And racing for it. McEachern coming hard with that great speed. Forces the play deep. And around the boards it goes to Keane, but he can't handle it. Don Sweeney now to Roloff. And it's away to center ice, batted in, and 9 seconds left on the power play. Chervyakov out for tripping at 4:44, and now he will come out of the box in a steal here and over the line. A chance for the Bruins, and the shot by Tim Sweeney is deflected in on Roy, and he makes the save. Boston at full strength. Ray Bourque at the line. Quick memory of Bobby Orr. He said his mother seldom went to a game. She went to a game in Toronto. Bobby Orr scored 3 goals.
Yes,
John.
he did. they asked her to come to more. Pay her flight anywhere you want to go.
Nearly out to Oates at center ice and flipped over the line. In the center ice, batted around. Quick steal. Koivu has to wait for a teammate to clear. Stevenson does. But the Bruins are able to get it deep. Now around for Tim Sweeney. Can't handle it. Icing on the play. What about Joey Mullins? It is 1-0 Boston over Montreal in the second half of the game at the Garden. Okay, generations of fans are here. John, what about that Mullen goal? You like that one?
Well, I tell you, there's a real veteran player who knows where to go and knows how to expend energy. He just bides his time. He's got great timing, and he's going to be an asset if he can get rid of that wrist shot like he got tonight. He's certainly a very good player, has proven he can really score.
Well, he scored one like that in San Jose. The pass is out to Kasatonov center ice. We have 17:10 left in this second half. The Bruins lead 1-0. Over the line comes Todd Ellick. Ellick wheels away. Good playmaker.
Good. He's a good hockey player. Todd Ellick, you're gonna. I think the Bruins fans are gonna be very happy with him.
And in deep, the centering pass is knocked away. Ferguson's, and the Bruins break it out. Mullen in deep for Kevin Stevens. Loses around the boards. Brashear has to flip it out, and Mullen back. Chervyakov, and a jam in the corner. Bruins move it up, but not out. And here's one deflected in, and Locker is there. What about Locker, Johnny?
Well, he's made 3 or 4 very good stops in this game so far. I think with a year's experience, last year was a tough year for him in terms of the fact that he was trying to get organized in goal after coming out of college. But you know, Fred, a player that I thought played very well in the first period was Stevie Hines. Hines looks like he's skating pretty well.
I was at a couple of scrimmages, John. Stevie Hines got 4 goals one scrimmage one morning. And I said to Harry Sinnen, geez, Hines is playing extremely well. He said, yeah, best player we have in camp thus far. Stevie Hines was flying.
I like the way he played in the first period. His timing seems to be much better, Derek, without the puck, which I think is extremely important, as you know, for a forward, to be able to get into those openings and accept the pass. And Stevie seemed to have mastered that a little better this year, at least in his first period.
Out comes Leach from Reed. Hughes with them. Leach going deep. Checked into the corner. Hard and taken down on the play. Taken down by Malakoff. The Bruins keep it in. And hunting for the net. Roll off. Misfires. 15 feet in front as he got the centering pass on a 3-on-2 for the Canadiens. Sevigny is open. And back the shot goes wide. Bureau with the chance. Maybe a piece of it for Locker and then wide. And in the corner, it's Roloff with it. Roloff had a marvelous chance cutting for the net.
John Roloff is not shy about going to the net at an offensive opportunity.
Here's a shot off the side of the net by Campbell out of Worcester, Massachusetts. Couple of years junior hockey in Canada, though. And this one is iced. Johnny Pearson looking at that Mullen goal.
Well, I talk a lot about the wrist shot, and this guy knows how to make that thing work pretty well, but playing with Adam Oates is a big advantage. This little guy knows how to lay that puck into the opening right here. Look at that nice little pass in the center to Mullen. Now look at this shot. And he beats Roy to the far corner. Very nice play. Oates to Mullen. And that nice little wrist shot. I like that, Derek, because you know where it's going to go most of the time. The slap shot tends to go astray from time to time.
Well, what it is as you well know, John, you get a guy who shoots the puck quickly like that, and it's going to, if it's on the spot, I think he got a little bit of a break. It might have deflected out the defenseman's stick, but getting in the way quickly, the goaltender cannot do anything. That slap shot, you wind up, he just sets his legs, glides out, and takes the net away. But that wrist shot, when you should get rid of it quickly, that's what Neely's success is. A lot of his goals don't come off a big booming slap shot. They come off a little quick wrist shots in front of the net. He just gets them away so quick.
And you don't telegraph it so that the puck is on its way before the goaltender knows it's coming.
Puck in front of the net. It is loose, and the Bruins get control. Hines, Donato with McEachern, the local boys. Off for Hines. He's onside. He's in deep, tough angle. And the shot is wide. 3 local boys on this line for Steve Casper. Back comes Recchi. Recchi's shot blocked, gets it in front. Now it's tapped up, and again the breakout by Donato, and he's picking up his line mates, trying to get it through to McEachern, can't do it. Back checking Recchi has it. Puck bounces, stopped by Burke, scores! Raymond Burke!
A bullet, an absolute bullet, and there's the advantage of the slap shot. If the slap shot is in motion, Ray Bourque stepped up, keeps it in at the blue line, and just unloaded a bullet.
Well, one of the great things about Ray Bourque is the timing. I mean, he knows how to fill in those holes. He moved in from center ice with this sort of bouncing puck up to the blue line right there. Made a great play. And here's a great place for the slap shot. Off the goal post, over the catching hand of Roy. And the Bruins out in front now, 2-0. Beautiful play by Ray Bourque, who's done it on so many, many occasions.
So it is a 2-0 lead for Boston in the second half. 14:37 left. By the way, right here on TV 38, we'll be at the Forum in Montreal. And the Canadian. Turnaround pass. Koivu is belted by Tim Sweeney. Screen shot, Locker. How did he ever get ready for that? It was blistering from the blue line. 2-0 Boston. Back in a moment on UPN 38. And there's the captain. A great goal for a 2-0 lead. Johnny Pearson, we met some old friends here tonight. How about your memories of the Garden and those friends?
Well, you know, Fred, I've seen people tonight at the Garden before the game that I hadn't seen for 25, 30 years. Vic Stasiuk, Leo Labine, Jerry Topazzini, just players who I have a great deal of fondness for and hadn't seen for a long time. Very emotional.
John, we talk about a lot of times face-offs. Bruins were losing earlier in this game, 11-3 on draws. It's now 18-17. That's a big change. That's turned it around.
Koivu coming back. Oh, over the line, quick shift. Look for Brisebois, who was cutting in, and it didn't work. Bruins have trouble with it, though. Savage broken up with the puck to center ice. 13:48 left. Second half of the game. No, it's not football. Savage bounces in. Locker. Glove it away. Bruins work it out. Rawat forced to come out against Kevin Stevens for checking. This one is down all the way to Locker. It covers up.
Well, Derek, getting back to faceoffs, you were pretty good in your day at those things, and you know, concentration and discipline are two things in faceoffs, for my mind, that you just have to concentrate and work hard.
Yeah, I think you're going to have with the centerman as a coach. I think there's going to be a lot more focus on faceoffs. I think they're an extremely important facet of the game. I have a few rule changes since when I played. It makes it a little more difficult to be consistent, but effort and focus is definitely part of it. And
you look at Adam Oates, he's pretty consistent out there. He's not taking them tonight, but
he's got the bad finger.
Yeah.
He's taken a few, but he hasn't done well. So I imagine the hand, I don't imagine he wants to pull that tendon again. So.
And Bruins work it out of the zone after the faceoff. Casatano trying to move it out. Mullen off Chervyakov. Drives in wide, loose puck, Stevens missed, walked in, had a great chance. Kevin Stevens on that opportunity. Just what he wanted. Mullen now with it. Check. Mullen into the corner to get it. He has a goal. Bourque has the other. Rowas has enough. And Don Cherry, welcome to Boston with Sean McDonough.
And that is the tie being worn by Don Cherry. Coach, I know there's a story behind the tie.
Well, that's Blue. They were going to have Blue be the state dog when I was here. God love her. She's gone now, lived to be 15. So I'd wear it tonight, and I'm quite proud to be here.
Well, the folks remember your dog Blue from your days as the Bruins coach in the mid and late 70s. And
you used to pick the goaltenders. Harry didn't like that, but he was pretty good. Cheeser, Gilbert, I was all right.
Blue did an excellent job picking the goaltenders, and there are many fans in this area for whom you remain the most popular coach in Bruins history. And we heard the ovation that you got here earlier tonight. As you reflect back on your time coaching the Bruins, what are the most vivid memories that jump out?
Well, I remember Bobby was killing a penalty one time against the Flames. I'll never forget that. He went through the whole team, put them in a backhand, but the one I remember the most is Pierre Bouchard and Stan Jonathan, and you guys will remember this. Best fight I ever saw in hockey. Poor Pierre, what happened was that he got drove right out of hockey. They said, you ever going to play hockey again in the league? And he says, yeah, if I take up the organ. That was the best fight. That was my piece de resistance here in the Boston Gardens. We were tough back then.
And for those who don't know, Coach Cherry is a very popular commentator on television in Canada. Still very close to the sport of hockey. Your impressions of this Bruins team this year?
Well, Joey Mullen I love. I've always loved. I told Cliff Fletcher at Toronto, get this guy 2 years ago. I'm predicting if he doesn't get hurt and he plays on the power play. Well, I don't know where he's going to play, but if he gets on that power play, he'll get 40 goals. I've always loved Stevens coming back here. I mean, I would with that line, if they get Iafrate back, if they get Iafrate back on that power play, that's going to be the best power play in the whole league. So I think the Bruins, I wish they had a couple of more tough defensemen, put the fear of God back there, but I think they're going to be all right this year.
Now, much has been written and said since you left as Bruins coach about your relationship with the Bruins organization and Harrison. And based on your presence here tonight, should we assume that at least things are cordial?
Well, I wouldn't say they're. Well, if Harry says hello, I'll say hello. It's been a long time. We've never. I don't think we've ever spoke since. But he did send me the letter to come here, and he did sign it. I looked at very close. It was a mimeograph. Is that how they say it? So yeah, it'll. Yeah, I haven't seen him here tonight, but yeah, I guess you could say it's pretty good.
Well, I think it's great that you were invited back. You remain one of the most colorful figures, certainly in Bruin history, and we really appreciate the visit.
Well, I remember your dad when he was here, and when I got fired, the best thing about getting fired, he put in his column, Don Cherry is like Colonel Nicholson in the Bridge of River Kwai, and I just love that. That made me feel good for a while, anyhow.
Well, he's always been a great admirer of you as well, and Coach, again, thanks very much for the visit.
Thank you very much.
Fred and Derek, back to you.
Hi, Sean. Say hello to Graves for me. He truly is a treat. They love him in Canada. The second most recognized man in Canada, Don Cherry.
Who's the first? Orr.
Prime Minister.
Oh, Orr.
Who was the Prime Minister?
Yes. Well, you won't know who the Prime Minister is, but if you're in Canada, you would.
Hey, Derek, I mentioned Joey Mullen. Do you think there's any significance to the number that Joey Mullen is wearing in the new coach of the Bruins?
I like that. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought that. The number's been away for a while, but maybe we'll ask Stevie.
Koivu breaks it out for the Canadiens, moves it up for Keane. It's broken up by Sweeney. Hines with it. 2-0 Boston leads. 11:33 left in the game. Hines checking, can't hang on to it. Back for it, Roloff. He's on defense with Sweeney. Up for Leach on the right wing side. Or rather Hines. Hines in for McEachern. He's too deep. Gets it again. Right in front, Don Sweeney. Save, Roy. Again, the Bruins with a glittering opportunity. Don Sweeney 15 feet in front. And a penalty coming up on the Canadiens.
Brisebois hitting from behind.
Bruins keep it. And now the whistle for the play. Our thanks to Johnny Pearson. 24 years. I know you're retiring. Thank you for everything for UPN 38.
Well,
TV 38, we knew it.
Let me tell you something, Fred. I'm not as old as this building, but I feel very honored to be leaving at the same time as this great establishment there.
You're not leaving. not leaving at all. 2-0 Boston. Back in a moment on UPN 38. It is a power play for Boston. Brisebois roughing. 14:02. We have 10:58 left. And the face-off to the left of Roy. And the big guns are out there. Stevens, Neely, here's a shot by McLaren. Save. Neely can't get the rebound. In the corner he does. Now it's back. Stopped by McLaren, the rookie. Cross for Bork. Trying to get it back to him, and Bork is broken up on the play.
Raymond tried to force that. Kind of returned the favor. The Bruins were down low, and they were fairly well covered.
Nice pass across by McLaren. He breaks to center. Trying to weave it in, can't do it. And the Bruins having trouble now. Neely takes over. And this one on Stevens is checked.
Last Hurrah week on with Seinfeld. You don't have to wait until Thursday to see the best comedy show on television. Seinfeld, Monday through Saturday at 7 on UPN 38. And it truly is a great show. You watch Seinfeld, Fred?
Oh, all the time.
It's just great.
No, not all the time.
Yeah, not all the time.
Let's not lean on that.
Yeah, but don't lean on it. You're right. But I watch it
comedian
every night.
Derek, you know, when Don Sweeney got in there, one of the tendencies I see with a lot of players when they're not good goal scorers, they seem to let up a little bit when they get in there for that good shot.
It's like they're embarrassed at that alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're kind of shy.
Yeah, right.
I really shouldn't be here, and I'm probably not going to do anything with it. But Don Sweeney, if he develops that offensive knack, which he's got a tremendous amount of confidence doing everything else, he'd be great.
And McLaren is broken up on the play, and a chance here for a shot by Kentel that goes wide. As the rookie coughed it up. Power play Boston, 50 seconds left. Neely breaks center ice, charges over the line, goes deep. Trying to get it to Oates, trailing on the boards, and Oates is broken up. And right out comes Bureau with Keane. Shot over the head of Blaine Locker, who has played a superb game in the Boston Nets. Quick, sharp. Here comes Oates over the line. Deep, broken up. And not a very effective power play for Boston.
Adam Oates is so good in that outside right-hand shot on the left wing. He beats players all the time.
Mullen, quick pass to Alec. It just went behind him. Nice play by Mullen. He's in the corner. Sweeney. Don Sweeney scores from Joey Mullen to make it 3-0 on a power play.
Well, he wasn't embarrassed there. He just fired that one. And he got it away quickly and hit what he was aiming at. Don Sweeney left point on the power play. Makes it 3-0.
A beautiful pass out from the corner, though, Derek. Watch this nice little pass out from the corner, right on Sweeney's stick.
Well, Mullen just lifts it in the air, John. That's the key.
This is beautiful. Right there, right on his stick. He had nothing to do but just drive it back. And he caught Roy moving just a little bit to the center. Beautiful play.
I think Roy's screened. He doesn't really get to see it. He kind of hopes he's going to pick it up. So he goes down for the percentage, which he likes to play. But Donnie Sweeney, boy, he gets that offense going. He is going to be, and I think, potentially an all-star. He is probably one of the best defensemen in the league, without a doubt. Just needs a little offense to get some attention.
And that's a power play for the Bruins. Don Sweeney from Joey Mullen. And right back. Ferguson in deep. Stevenson cutting in front. Scramble. And out of it comes Shear to Ferguson. Broke it up. And away comes McEachern. McEachern, a ship over the line. Now looking for a trailer. Slams it in. Roy, the save on the 44. Loose puck to McLaren. Can't set up McEachern in front. 8:17 left in the second half. Brashear rushing, just broken up at the last second by Ray Bourque in front of the net. Trying to come back. A scramble for it off to the right. Bourque takes it away from Stevenson. Can't flip it out. On the other side, McLaren trying to get it. Can't. Ray Bourque with it.
Ray Bourque is playing like this is a playoff game. He's been absolutely all over this building tonight, playing just tremendous.
John Roloff also an assist. And well spoken. He belted Sevigny. And back comes Hughes. Shot, save, rebound. Reed, save. 2 in a row by Roy. Hughes and Reed with the chance.
Dave Reed had the right idea, just didn't get it far enough off the body.
3-0 the Bruins at Boston Garden.
Well, the Bruin forwards are able to filter in behind the Canadiens' defense, which is causing Patrick Roy some kind of problems here. This is a beautiful play right out in front. Here comes Dave Reed trying to get it upstairs, as Derek mentioned, and he's pretty good at that. It's got that long stick with a long reach, so it enables him to get good leverage on that. Tried to get it up, but he couldn't. He was a little tight, I think, on Roy, but Roy made 2 very good stops there, as the Canadian defense is letting him down right at this moment.
I think Montreal's got some problems defensively as well. I think they're going to have to make a deal to shore up some spots back there.
Long shot by Don Sweeney is wide. And Hughes hustles after it, bounces it back. Don Sweeney holding. That shot just deflected wide as Leach almost put it home. And around the boards, Reed with it. Able to keep it in. 7:10 left, third period. 3-0 Boston. Leach a shot, tough angle, save Roy. Don Sweeney moves up, takes the hit, keeps it in. That hit from Keane. Puck back now, Roloff. He assisted on that third goal. Canadians trying to come back. Do not forget the work of Blaine Locker tonight.
Been absolutely fantastic. That's what the Bruins are going to need too all year long from him.
Over the line, Joey Mullen. He's broken up. Daigneault gets it back. Into center ice comes Mike Keane. He's now the captain. The shot deflected into the stands by Locker. A long one by Keane. 6:32 left. Third period. Goals by Joey Mullen, Raymond Bourque, and Don Sweeney on a power play.
Derek, how about McLaren? The youngster, 18 years of age, tall, maybe a little on the thin side for a defenseman, but a lot of good talk about him. How's he doing?
Well, he's young yet, and he impresses. He's got, he moves the puck well. I think he passes well, got a good quick shot. I think it's just a matter of getting his confidence to not be do not be overpowered by this league. He's as good as anyone else in this business, and as long as he takes that to the table every night, he's going to be fine.
He looks like has a little problem understanding where he needs to be in defensively. It sort of doesn't move quite with the same authority that you might like to see.
Well, I think that's from junior. You get in junior and you're the big gun there. Obviously, first pick, got a lot of ice time. Got away with a lot more. In the National Hockey League, you got to play your position soundly, and he'll get a hold of that pretty soon.
Todd Ellick fighting for it. It's back to Don Sweeney, able to move it in. 6 minutes left in the second half. Some memorable moments coming up here at Boston Garden after the game is over. And away to center ice comes Joey Mullen. Casatano. In deep. Ellick puts it in front. Blocked, knocked away. Screenshot here, deflected wide up. Casatana from the left point. In the corner, a battle for it. Gavrikov able to keep it in. Centering pass. Kevin Stevens shot blocked. Casatana shot goes high. The Bruins swarming all over the Montreal Canadiens. Same two teams meet tomorrow night. We'll have the action on TV 38. Mullen trying to go for a shot. And this is blocked. Maybe icing.
Roy, not only a good goalkeeper, he knows to play what's going on around him. Here's Alec trying to stuff it. Defenseman gets it down. Roy had that pass covered as well.
He's going to have a busy winter for Derek, based on what I've seen here for 2 periods.
Yeah, he's going to see a lot of rubber.
Yeah. While I have this opportunity, Derek, I just want to thank you and Fred, Fred particularly, because Fred and I worked together for many years.
And
I
did
tell
a
you,
tremendous job, boy.
The memories that I have locked inside myself over the years working with Fred and you recently, and I really appreciate it, and I'll certainly miss both of you a lot based on this coming season.
Well, hockey's going to miss you too, John, so will we.
Well, I wish you guys a lot of luck for the 95-96 season. It could be exciting. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Fred.
Thank you, John. Cam Neely touching the puck, and he's offside, and we have 5 minutes left in this, the second half. And the face-off outside the Montreal line. The kids are back in school now, and after homework's done, I'm looking for some fun. So tune into UPN 38 at 5 p.m. for family entertainment with Step by Step and Blossom. UPN 38, the first network for the next century. Face off outside the line. No one knew the rule book better than Johnny Pearson, Derek.
Yeah.
I mean, as a player and then later as an analyst. I mean, he knew it. Down cold. Every period, paragraph, sentence, name it. And it's sometimes written rather obscurely.
Oh.
Clarence Campbell used to.
Very vaguely sometimes.
Well, we haven't had any problem with the interference situation for all their instructions in this one. Neely almost cut in and had that one. It's knocked away. McLaren can't contain it. And a steal. Koivu checked by Roloff. Stop. He's not very big. And Roloff used his heft that time. Block it along the boards. Now he goes in against Savage. This one rolls around. Tipped out by McEachern. All the way down to Roy. We have 4 minutes left here. And the puck bounces back over the line. Over the line with it. Now Keane forced back. Bruins lead it 3-0. 3:35 left. Hines trying to come out. He stopped, but able to cover it again. That's back over the Montreal line. Hustling Hines centers the pass, but it rolls right to Keane. And now Hines trying to come back. Over the line, checks it. Keane with it. Able to flip it in the Boston zone. McEachern slides it out. Snap back in by Stevenson. I think Jacques Demers is trying to form a line like that Peluso elite line in New Jersey. Tough guys, check all over the ice, may not be great scorers. McKay, of course, the third member of it. They were so successful. And that's what he has in mind with this group. Stevenson, Ferguson, and Brashear. Ray Bourque, heavy hit, knocks Ferguson down. What a game Raymond Bourque has played tonight. Has a goal. Has the puck. Okay, a couple of minutes left, and now Sean McDonough takes over to preserve the shutout.
Thank you very much, Fred. Fred will make his way down to the ice for the post-game ceremonies. 2:08 remaining. The Bruins lead 3-0. We'll be back with more of the Last Hurrah on UPN 38 in a moment. Bruins lead 3-0 with 2:08 remaining to be played here in the Last Hurrah at the Boston Garden. The Bruins controlled the face-off, and Kyle McLaren sent it the length of the ice, and icing waved off as the puck was taken by Daigneault just short of the goal line. Now Todd Ellick in the corner, checked down by J.J. Daigneault, and Ellick got back up and wound up with the puck. Ellick trying to spin away from Mark Bureau. Again, Ellick taken to the boards, this time by Bureau. Free behind the net. Centering pass did not connect. It was shoveled out in front of the net by Joe Mullen, who has one of the 3 Bruin goals tonight. Jim Campbell stopped side of the circle and clanged one off the side of the net. Minute 27 remaining, and the Bruins lead 3-0. Kevin Stevens had it sail over his head. Now John Roloff moved it into the zone, delayed offside against the Bruins. Waved off as they touch up. Puck driven in from center ice by Malikoff. You'll want to stay tuned for the post-game ceremonies coming up with the conclusion of tonight's game, and that is 1 minute away. Last minute of hockey to be played at Boston Garden. For a Bruins fan, there could be no better last hurrah than a Bruins shutout victory over the Montreal Canadiens in the last hockey game at Boston Garden. Fitting that Ray Bourque should score a goal, and 2 former Beanpot players, Joe Mullen out of Boston College and Don Sweeney from Harvard, scored the others for Boston. Stay tuned. The post-game ceremony comes your way in just a moment. The final score, the Bruins 3 and the Canadiens 0. Boston Bruins hockey on UPN 38 has been brought to you by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. By your New England Ford dealers, the quality dealers with 5 of the top 10 best-selling vehicles in America. And by the Boston Sunday Globe. For more than 2 million people, it's the Sunday paper.
Now Shore starts lumbering up the ice, skating over onto the right wing. The Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup. The crowd loving every moment of it.
It is
Welcome back to Boston Garden, the last game ever to be played in this building. The Bruins shut out the Montreal Canadiens tonight by a score of 3-0. It has been an absolutely flawless evening here at the Garden to this point, and from what we understand, the best, certainly the most emotional part of the night is still to come, the post-game ceremonies. Let's head down to ice level now and rejoin public address announcer Jim Martin. Jim?
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center ice for tonight's post-game celebration. Introducing tonight's Bruins honored guests are two men who have brought Bruins hockey to generations of fans. Bob Wilson thrilled listeners with his stirring radio call for 28 seasons before retiring last season. Fred Cusick is still going strong as the television voice of the Bruins on UPN 38 WSBK TV in his 43rd season. Please welcome Bob Wilson and Fred Cusick.
Good evening and welcome to the post-game festivities of the Last Hurrah at the Boston Garden. We're here to salute many of the great Bruins who have performed on this ice surface over the past 67 years. Each player will be wearing the sweater representing his first season with the Boston Bruins. And joining us on the visitors' bench are those Bruins also in attendance, Bruins alumni. Okay, Bob.
Thank you, Fred. Let's get right to the introductions. We will introduce the players in alphabetical order, saving the retired numbers for the end. Each player will receive a beautiful crystal sculpture from Bruins President and General Manager Harry Sinden. Our first guest was a Bruins defenseman from 1963-64 through 72-73. He won a Stanley Cup with the Bruins in both 1970 and 72. Please welcome number 26, Don Horry.
And our next guest was a Bruins defenseman from 1954-55 through 65-66. He served as the Bruins captain from 1963 to 66 and was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1986. Please welcome number 20, Leo Boyven.
Our next guest was a Bruins goaltender from 1965 through 1972, and again from 75 through 1980. He won 2 Stanley Cups, served as coach, Jerry Jeter.
And our next guest coached the Bruins from 1974-75 through 78-79. He won the Jack Adams Trophy as the league's top coach in 1976. Is the only Bruin coach to have been honored with that award. Please welcome Don Cherry.
Through 1970 and again from 1972 through 81. He won a Stanley Cup with the Bruins in 1970. Please welcome number 26, Gary Doak.
guest was a Bruins left wing from 1935-36 through 1941-42, and again 1945-46 through 1953-54. He won a Stanley Cup with Boston in both 1939-1941 and was a three-time National Hockey League All-Star with the Bruins. He was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1992. Please welcome number 14, Woody Dumar.
Our next guest was a Bruins defenseman from 1944 through 1951, and again from 1954 through 1961. He served as Bruins captain from 1955 to 1961, a three-time NHL All-Star of the Bruins, elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1990. Please welcome number 14, Fernie Flanagan.
Guest started his NHL career as a 16-year-old in 1942, the youngest player at that time to ever play in the NHL. He was a Bruins left wing from 1942-43 through 43-44, again 1945-46 through 46-47. He also coached the Bruins from February 1973 through the 1973-74 season. Please welcome number 16, Bette Gwynlyn.
Our next guest was a Bruins right winger from 1967 through 1976. He won a Stanley Cup in both 1970 and 72, a two-time All-Star. Please welcome number 8, Ken Hodge. Guest was the third generation of his family to serve the Boston Bruins as presidents. His grandfather, Charles F. Adams, was the team's founder, and his father, Weston Adams Sr., also served as president and chairman of the board. He served as the Bruins president for 6.5 years. Please welcome Weston Adams Jr.
Our next guest was a Bruins center from 1957-58 through 1960-61. He led the team in goals and points on 2 occasions, led the National Hockey League in goals in 59-60. He was named a second-team NHL All-Star in 1960. Please welcome number 6, Bronco Horvat.
Our next guest played 2 seasons with the Bruins, but is best remembered in Boston as the coach who led the Bruins to the 1972 Stanley Cup. He was the Bruins coach from 1970 through 73 and has served the club in various capacities since. He was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1970 and is currently a Bruins vice president. Please welcome Tom Johnson.
Guest was a Bruins left wing from 1975-76 through 1982-83, and his scrappy style of play made him a favorite of the fans throughout his stay in Boston. Please welcome number 17, Stan Jonathan.
was forced into premature retirement from the game in 1991 due to multiple knee surgeries. Please welcome number 6, Gord Luzak.
Number 19, Norman Levier.
Again from 1968 through 1982. He won a Stanley Cup with Bruins in both 1970 and 72. Please welcome number 21, Don Marcotte.
And our next guest was a Bruins center from 1954 through 1963. He led the team in scoring in 3 seasons and served as the Bruins captain from 1961 through 1963. He won the Lady Byng Trophy as the league's most gentlemanly player in 1960. Please welcome number 17, Don McKenney. Through 1988. He led the team in scoring in 4 seasons and in goals for 6 straight seasons from 1978 through 1984. He served as the Bruins captain from 1985 through 1988. He was a second-team NHL All-Star in 1982, won the Lady Byng Trophy as the league's most gentlemanly player in 1982. Please welcome number 16, Rick Middleton.
Defenseman from 1953-54 through 1964. Please welcome number 19, Doug Moans.
1971 through 1985. He led the team in scoring in 77-78, in assists on 2 occasions, and in penalty minutes in 7 seasons. He served as the Bruins captain from 1983 through 1985, and was the Bruins coach from 1986 to 1989. Number 24, Terry O'Reilly.
Our next guest was a Bruins defenseman from 1975 through 1983, a 2-time All-Star. The Bruins selected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1988. Please welcome number 22, Brad Park.
Next, the Bruins right wing from 1946 through 1954, and again from 1955 through 1958. Tied for the team lead in scoring in 1951-52. Led the team in goals in 3 seasons and in assists on 1 occasion. Please welcome number 23, John Pearson.
Our next guest was a Bruins defenseman from 1949 through 1956. A 2-time All-Star with the Bruins, the first defenseman to win the Lady Byng Trophy as the league's most gentlemanly player when he won the award with Detroit in 1949. He was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1976. Please welcome number 11, Bill Quackenbush.
Our next guest was a Bruins center from 1975 through 1981. Led the team in assists and points in 2 seasons. Won the Lady Byng Trophy in 1976. He was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1985. Please welcome number 10, Jean Bertel.
Our next guest was a Bruins center from 1965 through 1974. He won 2 Stanley Cups, the Calder Trophy, as well as the league's top rookie in 1968. Number 16, Derek Sanderson.
And our next guest was a Bruins left wing from 1947 through 1955. He served as the Bruins captain 1954-55. He was named a second-team NHL All-Star in 1954. Please welcome number 7, Ed Sanford.
Our next guest was a Bruins center from 1967 through 1973. He won a Stanley Cup with Boston in both 1970 and 72. Please welcome number 17, Fred Stanfield.
Our next guest was a Bruins right wing from 1952 through 1954, and again from 1955 through 1964. Led the team in assists and points in 1960-61. Please welcome number 21, Jerry Topazzini.
next guest was a Bruins right wing from 1961 through 1972. He won Stanley Cups in both 1970 and 72 with the Bruins. Please welcome number 18, Ed Westfall.
And now to the retired numbers. We have in attendance tonight 3 family members of players who are deceased and whose numbers have been duly honored. They will receive the framed banners as a memento of the evening from 3 current members of the Bruins who are native Bostonians.
Our next guest is the daughter of professional sports' first Iron Man. He played 20 seasons in a Bruins uniform at both right wing and defense from 1927 through 1947 and served the team as its captain for 14 of those seasons. He's the only Bruin to have played on 3 Stanley Cup championship teams, winning titles in 1929, 39, and 1941. He was the first player to be enshrined in the Hockey Hall of Fame immediately upon his retirement as a player on February 12, 1947. He also served the team as coach for 4 seasons. His number 5 banner will be lowered with a presentation of the framed banner by the Bruins' Steve Leach. Please welcome Aubrey Dick Clapper's daughter, Marilyn Armstrong of Toronto.
And our next guest is the granddaughter of an original Bruin. Came to the team in 1924-25 season. His leadership taught a young team to win. Helped lead the Bruins to their first Stanley Cup. Won their first season in Boston Garden 1928-29. Only 15 Bruins have worn the Captain's C, and he was the first. And he'll have his number 3 banner lowered with a presentation of the framed banner by Ted Donato. Please welcome Lionel Hitchman's granddaughter, Claudia Coburn of Ottawa.
Our next guest is the son of hockey's first superstar. He was the only defenseman in league history to win 4 Hart trophies as the NHL's most valuable player. He was an 8-time All-Star, a number unmatched by any player of his era. He won 2 Stanley Cup championships with Boston in 1929 and 1939, and in 1945, he was among the first group of inductees into hockey's Hall of Fame. His number 2 banner lowered with a presentation of the framed banner by the Bruins' Steve Hines. Please welcome Eddie Shore's son, Edward Ted Shore Jr. of Springfield.
And now to the 4 players who are with us tonight to watch their banners be lowered for the final time at Boston Garden. Our next guest is the only man to have served the Bruins as a player, coach, and general manager. He has won more Stanley Cup titles with the Bruins than any other person, capturing 2 as a player in 39 and 41, 2 more as the club's general manager in 1970 and 72. He was a 4-time NHL All-Star, won both the Hart Trophy as the league's MVP and Ross Trophy as the National Hockey League scoring champion. Despite missing 3 seasons while serving his country in World War II, still ranks among the top 10 on the club's all-time list of games, assists, and points 40 years after he retired. He'll have his number 15 banner lowered with a presentation of the framed banner by Don Sweeney. Please welcome number 15, Milt Schmidt.
You've probably seen more games in this building than anybody. This is the last hurrah. As you stand here at center ice, what do you feel?
Well, it's always been said that I played this game with a lot of heart. And believe me, seeing all these people and the ovation that I've received tonight, every second of it was worth it. And thank you so much for everything.
Milt Schmidt.
Our next guest is one of the greatest left wings to ever play in the NHL. He played 21 seasons in a Bruins uniform, serving as captain for 5 years. He was twice an NHL All-Star and won 2 Lady Byng trophies as the league's most gentlemanly player. Nearly 20 years after his retirement, he remains the club's all-time leader in nearly every offensive category. He won 2 Stanley Cups with Boston in 1970 and 72. Now we'll have his number 9 banner lowered with a presentation of the framed banner by Cam Neely. Please welcome number 9, John Busick.
Chief, you and I have been around the block a time or two together. As they close this old lady on Causeway Street, how do you feel?
Well, Bob, I'll tell you what, after watching today's game, it's going to be a lot cooler in a new building, but I'm going to miss this grand old building with all these great fans.
Johnny Busick.
And our next guest set new scoring standards in the National Hockey League. He was the first player in NHL history to record 100 points in a season, and he shattered the league record for goals in a season with an incredible 76 goals in 70-71. He was the league scoring champion on 5 occasions. He won 2 Hart trophies as the league's most valuable player. He was an 8-time NHL All-Star, won 2 Stanley Cups with the Bruins in 70 and 72, and he was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1984. Now we will have his number 7 banner lowered with a presentation of the framed banner by Adam Oates. Please welcome number 7, Phil Esposito.
Philip, you've always said the best years of your playing career were spent on this Boston Garden ice, right?
The best years of my life was in Boston, to tell you the truth. And also, the greatest thrill of my life was when Mr. Bork gave me a nice sweater.
Phil Esposito.
And our next guest is the greatest player in the history of the National Hockey League. He remains the only defenseman to ever lead the league in scoring, accomplishing that feat twice. A 9-time All-Star, he was named the league's most valuable player 3 times. He won 8 Norris trophies as the National Hockey League's best defenseman, and twice won the Conn Smythe Trophy as the NHL's playoff MVP, following Boston's Stanley Cup victories in 70 and 72. He was the first defenseman to score 100 points in a season, the first player in NHL history to record 100 assists in a season, and score 6 consecutive 100-point campaigns. He was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame upon his retirement as a player in 1979. Now we'll have his number 4 banner lowered with a presentation of the framed banner by Ray Bourque. Number 4, Bobby Orr.
Reminds me of another night they had here. Welcome back to the Garden, kid.
Thank you, Bob. It's great to be back. It's a very special night. I know it's special. It's a very special night, and I know it's got to be special because my mother is here tonight, and she's never been in Boston Garden, so it must be a very special night. So thank you all.
Number 4, Bobby Orr. We are now going to ask all of the alumni to please get together for a picture, and we'll be ready to go shortly for a final skate around the Boston Garden.
The great Bruins assembled, posing for pictures, and then they are scheduled to take one last final skate around the ice surface here at Boston Garden to officially bring to an end 67 years of hockey in this building. And Terry O'Reilly, Stan Jonathan have decided to take a seat in the part of this building with which they are most familiar, the penalty box, and Fern Flaman has joined them there as well.
Onto the ice, and we ask the fans to salute all of the Bruins as they skate around Boston Garden for the final time.
As soon as they remove the carpet on which the participants were standing in the center ice area, they'll begin the skate. Seems as though the players don't want to leave. And you can understand that. It's another night that reminds us how fortunate we are to live in this city. There's a poster that is hanging in several places around Boston Garden that says, "You can tear down the building, but not the memories." And tonight, what memories have been added to the lore of this great building? The Bruins' victory over Montreal in the final game, Ray Bourque fittingly scoring a goal. Then the tremendous reception for all of the Bruins after the game, particularly for Bobby Orr. The triumphant return of Don Cherry, including a handshake and embrace with Harry Sinden. And without question, most emotionally, the return to Garden Ice of Norman Levier, skating to take his position among the Bruins. For Derek Sanderson and Fred Cusick, Sean McDonough, for the final time, saying so long from Boston Garden.
These are the days of the endless summer. These are the days, the time is now. There is no past, there's only future. There's only here, there's only now. Oh, your smiling face, your gracious presence, the Father's spring, a kindling breath, are the radiant heart, is the song of glory, cry of freedom in the night. These are the days by the sparkling river, His timely grace and our treasured faith. Turn the water into wine.
Clark, the draw, the shot, it trickles in, it's knocked away, Park with it, scores! Ron Park wins the game!
Steal by Jenny, Jenny in! Scores! Frank Jenny stole from Danico, went in, Frank Burke!
Gains the line, trying to go right through, is in! Scores! A brilliant goal! Right up the middle, a great fake under the fence.
These are the days of the endless dancing, and the long walks on the summer night. These are the days of the true romancing, when I'm holding you, oh so tight. These are the days of a sparkling river, and His timely grace in the treasure to find.